I had a Sega Genesis, and I had Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I had the Spider-Man and the X-Men Arcade's Revenge.
That was the shit, man.
Yeah, what was your first?
Man. I would say that's the first I can, very specifically remember, but I also remember Spider-Man, the arcade game, where it was, Hawkeye. I think it was, Black Cat, Hawkeye, Namor, and Spider-Man were the playable characters.
Yeah.
And I remember just playing the shit out of that at the arcade. And at the time, I mean, that was, mind-blowing. So it's definitely... Probably, yeah. The X-Men is the one I remember playing the most, and I have vivid memories of that.
Yeah. Maximum
the
Carnage.
Arcade game is Maximum, yeah, of course, Maximum Carnage and all that kind of shit. But I mean, the one that really kind of changed the game was the original one on PlayStation.
Yeah. I played a little bit of that. I know a lot of folks like me. I was into the Spider-Man 2. One that was the one that was really you can web sling, but I think the one that I enjoyed a lot more than that, I played Ultimate Spider-Man on the PlayStation 2.
That was a good one too.
I love that one just because I mean, playing this new one, it reminded me a little bit of that one because that one also had a huge map of New York, not quite as huge as this one, but huge enough.
No.
Yeah. Huge enough, but it was yeah, they had their little landmarks and stuff like the Brooklyn Bridge and Empire State Building and stuff, but it was a very condensed map, so to speak. Yeah,
that was the one that I remember. It might not have been the first one to feature it, but it's the one that I remember. Really specifically, when you would swing around, you would see, oh fuck, there's the Baxter Building, you know, or oh, there's the Daily Bugle, and I know that they've done that in other games since and stuff like that, but that's the first one I really remember at the time being oh man, they're actually tying this into, and the fact that you got to fight Wolverine when you were Venom and shit like that, it was very much part of that universe, which I really, really liked as a kid because, you feel oh shit, man. And then you got the Human Torch, of course. And,
yeah.
But that was... I don't know if it was the first to feature, kind of a shared universe, so to speak, but it was definitely the one that I remember being oh, wow. But, you never played the ones on PlayStation?
I played Spider-Man 1 and 2. I didn't play any other ones outside of Spider-Man's appearances in the Marvel vs. series and stuff, which is always fun to watch, play in and stuff anyways. So I didn't play Shattered Dimension, right? I did.
Oh, really?
No, I didn't play Shadow Dimension. I did play Edge of Time though, because at that point I was really into it. I actually was reading Spider-Man Noir, and he was in that game. So I was already all right, I actually want to play this game now. And I think that one was it Spider-Man 2099, and I think it was Spider-Man 2099, Ultimate, and then you had Spider-Man Noir, and then you had regular Parker. So I played that. But I never played Shattered Dimensions, which I was kind of should I go back and play that now? I don't know. So,
well, wait, Shattered Dimension. Yeah, Shattered Dimension had the 4. Edge of Time just had the 2.
Okay, I'm getting it mixed up. So I think I did play Shattered Dimensions. I never played Edge of Time. Then, if that's the case, I think I got it mixed up.
Edge of Time was more you were 2099, kind of going back to save Peter Parker, and then at the end, you fight Peter Parker as a villain in an alternate, the main boss is Peter Parker, basically.
Oh, wow.
Doc Ock shit.
Wow.
Kind of an evil version of him.
Yeah.
But I remember Edge of Time was that main cinematic that they were promoting, where it had a 2099 carrying, the 616 Spider-Man, almost like his lifeless body, and that was oh shit, what happened?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean. Shattered Dimensions, I mean, when that came out, that was to me, that was the definitive Spider-Man game because, number one, it was so, at the time, it was so current and modern
Yeah.
and looked beautiful. And I love the fact that each universe had its own look. Like Noir was awesome.
Yeah.
And 199 was bright and sleek, and then Ultimate was cell shaded, and 616 was cell shaded. But like each universe had its own kind of look to it, and I really, really liked that. The only thing that kind of turned me off was like, I don't think Spider-Man, I don't think he should be in levels that are that linear.
Yeah, it was linear-ish and stuff, and I get it because in my head at the time when it came out, I was like, this should have been like open world if you're going to introduce all this, but it wasn't. It was just go to point A to point B, and that was it.
Yeah, it had a lot of cool shit. Like the Noir universe was, I mean, you had the Vulture who was like a circus geek. You know, he was like eating fucking chickens and shit like that.
Yeah.
And then you had, which I thought was awesome, he was almost like a vampire. And then you had, of course, the Goblin, who was, you know, kind of like almost like a mobster, like a crime family boss. And then you had Hammerhead, and I love the take on each of those characters, you know, in their universes, like the Hobgoblin in 2099 and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. But with this one, what was great about it is, you know, I remember when they showed the E3 trailer for this new game, for the new Spider-Man game, and it threw me off with the white Spider-Man logo, and I was like, what is this? You know, and you know, I didn't know how to feel, and I was like, well, maybe this is just a concept for their little Spider-Man game, and that was just whatever and stuff. It didn't like when the actual game came out, and I was like, oh, so I guess Doc Ock helped out and stuff, which brings to the overall thing with this game is that the game actually introduced you to a character that's in the comics, Mr. Negative. And I was not familiar with that character other than I've seen him in a couple of comics and stuff here and there, but like I wasn't familiar too much with Mr. Negative, honestly. So
yeah, I mean, I knew he was a character. I knew he was Martin Lee.
Yeah.
And then I know that he created the Anti-Venom symbiote.
Uh-huh.
I didn't really know too much about him. I've read a couple of issues with him in it.
Yeah.
But, so, I mean, do we need to tell anybody that we're going to spoil the shit out of this? Because a lot of people don't know who the bad...
Right, so we're spoiling this, folks, so just bear in mind, we're spoiling this. So if you haven't played the game, stay away. Stay far away from this.
If you haven't played it, you're about to get it ruined for you. So, like, I knew that Octavius was in the game before it came out because I had read some shit where they were like, yeah, you know, just because we have other characters doesn't mean they're a big part of the story. So, like, I had read that Peter was, you know, an assistant or whatever at Octavius Industries, and of course you're like, all right, so Ock is in it, but they very, very, like, were very intent to push that Mr. Negative was the main villain.
Oh yeah,
so you're like, all right,
the promos and everything. I was like, oh, so Mr. Negative is the big bad. Okay, I'm fine with this. This is different.
Yeah, so was I. So I just assumed like, all right, so Mr. Negative is the big bad, but like I didn't think that Dr. Octopus would be in it. I thought Dr. Octopus would be saved for a sequel. I thought Octavius would be in it. Like, so remember the opening scene where he has the arms on and he kind of gets that, like, I thought, there's no fucking way they're going to turn him right now. I was like, there's no way he's going to get turned into Doc Ock within the first, like, 5 minutes of seeing him. And I like how they tease that, you know, like, I like how they, I like that the game is very smart. It's a very, very smart game.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but like when I play it, one of my favorite things about it is that you could tell it was made by people that care about this character and really, really like wanted to do a good job handling, you know, his characters and his universe. Like I could tell playing it that I'm like, these people like Spider-Man. They're Spider-Man fans.
Well, I mean, it's Insomniac. I mean, Insomniac, this is the same group that has done, like, you know, Ratchet and Clank and Spyro and even the Resistant games. And I don't know if you ever played any of the Resistance games. Oh, you have?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so they're pretty good with doing that kind of like long-form storytelling and hitting you with, like, a twist. And
Okay.
sometimes a twist you'll see coming, and other times you're like, oh, I didn't see that shit coming. So for me, so the big question for me, and maybe you can probably answer this, where do you think Doc Ock turned to plan all that out? Because that's not something that you just, because at one point in the game, when you get near the end, after you do that whole little mini game where you mess around with the head unit and you tell Doc, hey, you might not want to use that because it's going to mess you up. Do you think that he actually turned and made all those plans before that? Because that's a lot of planning. Because at one point in the game, Peter goes to Times Square and finds Doc Ock's lab where he built all that stuff. And it makes you wonder, where at in the game did he find time to dip off to the side and make all that stuff and plan that out? Because that's something that he really planned for a while.
Yeah, that's a good question, because when, again, spoilers, like when Doc Ock is fine. Okay, so here, let me rewind a little bit. So I noticed that in some of the cinematics they had shown us, they had shown us the Sinister Six, but there was only 5 of them. And I had noticed, like, prior to the release of the game, there was that cinematic of them, almost killing Spider-Man, and Negative said, no, he wants him alive. And that right there was like, oh, fuck, so he's not the big bad. There's an even bigger threat. And that's when I kind of was like, it has to be Doc Ock. Or
Goblin.
I started to think, yeah. It's because Norman Osborn is such a presence in the game.
Yeah.
So in that cinematic, and I think I had seen it maybe a week before release where they said, no, he wants him alive. Then I was like, well, shit, Negative's not the big bad. To me, it's either Goblin or Octopus. Like, those to me are the two. You can argue Venom, but like, to me, Doc Ock and Green Goblin are like 1A, 1B for Spider-Man's like kind of flagship villain.
Yeah.
Probably Goblin a little bit more, but Doc Ock is right there.
Yeah.
And at the end, when he comes up and he's scaling the wall, I was like, wait a minute, when the fuck did you have time to build all this shit? And like, when did you turn evil? Because you were helping Peter out with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like, you were helping. And honestly, man, I kind of thought at that moment he would have said something about like, hey, like your costume, and then had something like some kind of thing that he could do to shut down Peter's costume. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because he basically kind of designed it. Yeah. And I felt like that might have been a little bit of a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because when he revealed himself, you're like, wait a minute, weren't you just kind of cool like a minute ago? Like, you were level-headed.
Yeah.
And everything was cool, and Peter was, the only way that I could explain it is that, because at the end he reveals that he's known the whole time, right? He knew that Peter was Spider-Man. The only thing that I can explain it as is Doc obviously has this hatred for Norman, and he's built up this hatred for Norman, for years, since they were partners or whatever, and then he looks at Peter as a son, and Peter has this double life that he's not telling Ock. So the only thing that I can say is that maybe Ock had these like lingering feelings of resentment and betrayal for Peter, because like, whoa, we're super close. I know you're Spider-Man. I know you're building shit for him, quote unquote. Why couldn't you just tell me? Yada yada. That's the only way I can really explain it, to be honest with you. Is like, maybe it had been festering.
Yeah, I mean, I think I do agree with you on it's festering. The only thing I can think of is right when Norman busted up in there, when they're testing that arm out on that soldier, part of me thinks that's where he decided to go full tilt on his plan. I think before they said it was festering, but he just kind of held off like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do my own thing and stay the hell away out of Norman's way. And then I think that possibly is where it turned for him.
I think you're right. I think that's a really good assumption. And I'll be honest with you, when I saw that arm, the first thing I thought of was a lizard. I was like, oh, they're going to fucking show Connors.
Yeah.
Like, that arm is for Kirk Connors. Come on, fuck off, guys. And you're right, because, when Norman busts in there and kind of was like, get all this shit out of here, and this blah, 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 Doc Ock or Otto kind of went nuts. But maybe it was a mixture of the two, because, at the end, he reveals, like, I've known the whole time, which apparently Peter is the worst at keeping a secret.
Because it's like, he's a worse liar. It's like, even up made.
Yeah. Right. So like when she again spoilers, when she dies and she's like, I knew the whole time, I'm like, motherfucker, like really?
That was ballsy. First off, that was ballsy of the game to kill Aunt May off, because I didn't expect that. So when the sickness is going around, she's coughing. I was like, oh shit. Either A, she's gonna die, or B, Peter gets there just in time to give her the cure and she's alive. And the fact that he opted, because I was sitting there like, oh, he opted not to give her the cure because, hey, everybody else needs that cure.
The greater good.
And I was like, oh shit, like, wow. And I streamed, because I actually streamed the game and stuff, and I joked, I was like, well, Peter, you can't make a deal with the devil on this time around, so got choices now. What do you do? So I mean,
it was ballsy, man.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, I did not see that coming. Wow. And also the variation of how Miles got powers was definitely different too.
Yeah, I mean that to me, like I heard that originally he had a much smaller role in the game.
Yeah,
and obviously Miles is pretty well beloved now, so you can kind of see where the next one's going. I'm glad they didn't include him and rush him in this one, because this is Spider-Man's game, and like as long as Peter Parker and Miles Morales exist, to me, Miles can't be Spider-Man. What do they call him? Kid Arachnid or some shit like that?
I think originally in the Ultimates when he came out, he had the Spider-Man costume and was fighting crime until some like random bystander was like, "Hey, dude, Spider-Man died. That's in poor taste, man." And and that's when he got the black costume of Fury, and he was like Kid Arachnid until Aunt May and Mary Jane gave him his blessing to be Spider-Man and stuff. And I think now he's Spider-Man, but the way they're angling in his solo comic now, like it's kind of like, well, he's Spider-Man, but clearly he's his own character. Thankfully they got rid of the Spidey moniker that they were originally going to do, because that was been fucking stupid. But
what are we going to call him?
Spidey, like SPY-D.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was the original rumor, and then thankfully they just ditched it and was like, well, it's Miles Morales Spider-Man, so there you go. But I think a lesser developer would have literally shoehorned like a couple of parts where it's like, now you can play as Miles Morales Spider-Man now because he got powers, and it's like, I mean, cool, I guess, but it just wouldn't have been good, So
no, I like that Insomniac. I mean, going back to like Doc Ock and shit, like I like that they managed to keep him a secret.
Yeah.
For the majority of the release and everything. I really like that. I like that.
Yeah, they only teased him in that E3 trailer, and then they never showed him ever again after that.
Yeah, and I like that playing the game, like maybe I'm just, naive or whatever, but like playing the game, I didn't automatically assume that he was going to become Doc Ock. I thought, again, I was like, oh, okay. Like,
it was an Easter egg, to be honest with you. Like, oh, Miles is in this world. All right, cool. And then just keep it moving.
Yeah, like I thought the same with Miles as Doc. I thought, okay, well, Miles is in it. He's an Easter egg. Doc's in it, but he's just going to be Otto Octavius.
Yeah.
And then, bam, they're like, nah, fuck it. He's Doc Ock. And bam, now he gets bit by the spider. I do like that little thing at the end, the post-credit or the mid-credit with Peter and Miles. I like Peter's reaction.
That was actually pretty awesome. That was very Spider-Man, Dimensions kind of thing and stuff.
Yeah,
that whole thing. I would say this: they also did a good job of building up what the next game could be, because if you think about it, that next game they have a different set of villains they can put in now, because now you establish the Lizard, you've established possible Green Goblin.
I think we know who the villain's going to be.
Like who?
I mean, did you watch the post-credit scene?
Yeah, I watched the post-credits with Harry in the tank, and I'm like, is this going to be how Norman becomes Green Goblin, and which Green Goblin are we going to get? We're going to get the mask and the hover thing, or we're going to get the Ultimates where he looks like a legit goblin that can breathe fire?
Hey man, that was the symbiote. Harry was wrapped in the symbiote. That's I mean, because in some iterations Harry becomes Venom before Eddie.
Shit, you know what? I didn't catch shit. So does that mean that they basically made it seem as though Norman made the symbiote now?
I don't know if they're saying that he made the symbiote.
Or he found the symbiote. I didn't catch that till you just now said that, and I was thinking back to that close crap. I was like, oh shit, because the symbiote thing did hit the tank when Norman had his hand on it. Oh.
I don't necessarily. What I would venture to say, my guess, and I have no basis for this, is that, you know, the symbiote is from a different planet. It hit Earth. However, it got back. Norman confiscated it because he learned of its, like, you know, its symbiosis with a human host. And, like, you know how in the books, like, Eddie had cancer and the symbiote kind of kept him alive or whatever. Like, maybe that's where they're going with it, is Harry has this terminal disease and Norman basically heard of the symbiote, or, you know, maybe, I don't know, one of his fucking shuttles or whatever is the one that brought it back. But from my guess, from what I saw, Harry is going to be Venom for Eddie, because there are some, like, even in this new Spider-Man cartoon, I believe, actually no, in the old Spider-Man cartoon, Harry was Venom.
Yeah, for a hot second and stuff. I think in the Ultimate Universe, it varies on who's the symbiote, because at one point there was somebody else that turned into, there was Venom, and Venom ended up killing Miles' mom. And like,
yes.
Yeah, and the fucked sad part about that was fucked up is that if you read Secret Wars, Miles and like 10 other heroes remember what happened in their worlds before Secret Wars. So when he teams up with Venom in the new book, he still remembers the fact that Venom killed his mom. Even though his mom is alive now, post Secret Wars, he still remembers that shit. So that's
alive again?
Yeah, Secret Wars, they kind of reversed a lot of things, because that's what Secret Wars was. And like, basically he has his mom and dad back again. So like,
really?
So he remembered, but he still, because I think it's him, T'Challa, Namor, Reed Richards, Doctor Strange, and a couple other people. They were on the lifeboat before that whole Secret Wars thing, and Doom melded all the worlds together. So them and Thanos and his Black Order, they remember what happened before Secret Wars, essentially, because they were in their because they were on their own individual life rafts. So it's kind of interesting, especially for T'Challa. If you read his books, he remembers what happened before. So he's trying to avoid like his sister dying and where Wakanda's going and stuff. He remembers that shit. Like, yeah, it's definitely some ramifications for certain characters on that end. But so that would be interesting if Harry. So my thing is this: if Harry, so you have Harry as Venom. They alluded to maybe Norman does become Green Goblin, because you remember that mask on the desk that Mary Jane finds.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a possible you can either get Green Goblin or Hobgoblin. I don't know which one you get.
It's got to be green. You can't get. See, I fucking hate when they do Hob before green. Yeah. Like, Hobgoblin basically took he stole the Goblin gimmick.
Yeah.
From Green Goblin, like this whole Hobgoblin bullshit. Like, I don't have when they do like Harry being the Hobgoblin, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, all right, like, I get it, but
there's been like 3 different Hobgoblins and stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, fucker from Homecoming, Ned Leeds was Hobgoblin.
Yeah, I think it was like the only two I know is Ned Leeds. Actually, no, 3. Ned Leeds, I think Phil Urich, and this other dude, I think Roderick Kingsley. He was the rich dude that. Yeah, he was the rich guy that ended up becoming Hobgoblin. But I always felt that he was like a lesser Green Goblin, not quite as crazy. You know, just whatever. He just had money and he could do whatever. So that's
he's kind of a budget version.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, so for me, I know we're jumping all over the place, but like for me, I mean, you can't use the symbiote and not include it. So like, if I were a betting man, I'd say the characters you're going to get for the next one would be Green Goblin. I hope they go full Goblin. I don't want to see Dragon Goblin, like where he's got a giant tail.
Yeah, that's the ultimate Green Goblin right there. That's why I'm like,
Well, I like Ultimate Green Goblin, but like you see in that Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, how he's basically like a dragon with a hat.
Yeah, like, yeah. That was a little weird.
I'm not. See, I don't know. I don't know where they go. Like, I actually really liked the Humberto Ramos version of the Green Goblin from like Spectacular Spider-Man, the comic series, where he kind of had like a little bit of armor on him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm torn between, I want to see the glider,
Yeah.
for sure, but I like when he becomes a like a you know, I don't want to say mutant, but you know what I mean, like a monster.
Yeah.
I don't like Power Ranger, you know, Sam Raimi Goblin.
Yeah, that one didn't quite age well like people think it did. It's like,
oh, dude, it's so bad.
Like, it's like, you know what is funny about that is like, in concept, I get what they were trying to do, but like, if you already have somebody who already can animate his face to be Green Goblin, you might as well just go on ahead and just do the face paint or whatever and just go from there.
And have you seen the concept artwork and the animatronics of what originally? I mean, his mask was dead on from the books, and it was an animatronic, you know, mask that he would have worn.
Yeah.
And it's been online for. I have a book like the making of Spider-Man and shit, and they show a concept drawing, and then they show.
I see it now.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, shit, this shit would have worked.
Yeah.
Wow, that would have worked big time. It would have been creepy as shit, which is what you want. So, yeah. Wow.
Exactly. So, for the next one, I'm saying Harry becomes Venom. You know, he gets taken over by the symbiote, so Harry becomes Venom. He's not going to be the big bad because I don't think Harry is like this mastermind. I think Norman will be the Goblin.
Yeah.
He'll be because they say at the end of this game that he resigns in shame.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's no longer the mayor. I'm saying you get the Goblin.
Uh-huh.
I'm saying you get Venom.
Yep.
I'm saying you get the Lizard.
Yep.
I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say Sandman could make it a thing, and I'm going to say you might see Kraven in some capacity. I don't know that Kraven is going to be like a main...
I say you make him a side mission, kind of like if this is actually another transition, kind of like Taskmaster. Because those Taskmaster missions were actually fun as hell to do. I'll wholeheartedly admit that. Yeah,
and I like that when you got to fight him, you know, if you lost, he'd be like, oh, you know, come get me later or whatever. I also think it's going to be a lot like Halo 2, or was it Halo 3? Halo 2, where you could switch between Master Chief and the Covenant. I think it's going to be something like that. It was
Halo 2.
So I think you're going to be able to switch between Miles and Peter, which, you know, I love Miles, and I'm a big fan of his version of Spider-Man, but, like, I also like to see Peter get his due, especially in this new game universe.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to see them rush. Like, I don't mind if Miles and Peter's teaching him how to use his powers in some missions. Like, maybe there's missions where, like, you go out as Miles and stop street-level crime.
Yeah, like have like his subplot be like, hey, I'm gonna stop the Prowler.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. Even though Prowler would be his uncle in the game, but
that'd be nice.
I don't want to see Miles take on like the Goblin, because to me, I don't care unless this game takes place 10 years after this one, which I doubt it. I don't think Miles will be ready, you know, in a year, because Peter. They say in this game, Peter's been Spider-Man for 8 years. I mean, he's got some experience.
Yeah, him and Mary Jane had a relationship, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
You know, I would say this: the build up, because this whole game, the game you would think, because I'm a fan of open world games, right?
Yeah.
And you know, open world games is very hit or miss, particularly when it comes to superhero ones. Because I played a lot of the Lego Marvel games, and even though
I love them,
even though they're open world, sometimes it feels exhausting because it's just so much to do and you can't do it all at the same time. And I think what I love about this is that you could just sit there and just web sling, because you have the whole city access off the break at the beginning of the game. And what I thought was cool was that like you could just web swing around, and I saw a lot of people saying they just love just web swinging around,
dude,
and fighting random crime.
Like, did you use the like the subway, like the fast travel? Did you? I did not use that one time.
I only used it if I didn't feel like going. Because I think I had gotten to a point where I was like, what I was doing was I was slowly like 100%ing certain sections as I got through it over the course of the game. So if it got to a point where it was like, I think when it got down to like the last few hours of the game, and I didn't feel like web slinging from one side of town to the next, I did fast. I did the fast, thing and stuff where I just used the metro, used the train and stuff.
Shame on you.
Yeah, I know. It was a little laziness, but hey, I love the cutscenes in between of like Peter doing regular New York stuff. That was hilarious, between the guy sleeping on his shoulder, him talking to a dude that's dressed up as Spider-Man, which is part of a side mission in the game, which is hilarious. Just him using his phone on the subway system. And I've seen a lot of people that are from New York saying, yeah, he nails everything that happens on the New York subsystem. So yeah, it's accurate. I thought those were kind of funny moments.
Yeah, like, I mean, okay, I've been in New York 2 times in my life.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's an incredible fucking city. I couldn't live there, but it's an incredible city. But yeah, I mean, like, New York, being a New Yorker is very much a thing. It's not just some bullshit that they say. Like, I am clearly not a New Yorker.
Yeah.
And, when I was there, you see like this certain kind of attitude that these people have, and the way that, I rode the subway and checked that, and I'm just sitting there kind of looking around, and these motherfuckers are just hanging out, sleeping, eating, knitting, just shit like that to pass time. And in the game, I love that, that guy was sleeping on his shoulder at one point, or he's on, like you said, I mean, it just feels like they had a good grasp, on who Peter Parker is, and who Peter Parker is as a resident New Yorker.
Oh yeah, I mean, just him using the phone, and there's a guy next to him reading the paper and just looking up at him like, Spider-Man's on the metro. All right, I guess.
Well, it's funny to me because, like, in those metro scenes, like, nobody really makes too big of a deal that Spider-Man is on the. And again, I mean, that to me is a very New York thing where it's like, fuck, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even gonna fucking lose my mind. Like, everyone would say, of course he's on the subway.
Yeah, of course. I mean, and what was cool was like how they did the interactions with because at one point there is a trophy in the game that you have to interact with I think 10 people total New Yorkers. I thought it was interesting how you had some New Yorkers that was like, hey, Spider-Man, let's take a picture, or you dabbing up somebody and stuff that sees you on the street, or you might hug somebody that wants to hug you, or you might have somebody be like, I hate you, Spider-Man, why are you here, and all that stuff. And then even the touch of everyone during the game, J. Jonah Jameson, he has a podcast that pops up during the course of the game, and he's just railing against Spider-Man. And it's hilarious because I think in this game, Norman's mayor of New York, which is interesting. And I think J. Jonah isn't. I don't think he's in charge of the Daily Bugle in this game. I don't think so.
No, he retired. They said he retired.
Yeah.
And now he's just a quote unquote entertainer.
Yeah.
But in the comics, J. Jonah becomes the mayor of New York. I don't recall, and I could be. Yeah, I could be wrong.
Kingpin's mayor of New York now.
Is it really?
Yep. It's good.
Oh, fuck me.
Oh, it's good.
What series is this from? Amazing, Astonishing.
Daredevil.
Oh.
Yeah, the Daredevil books, like him and Matt kind of butt heads because they vote for Kingpin as mayor of New York, and Matt's like, there's some bullshit going on because why would you vote Kingpin as mayor? Like, what the hell's going on here? But it's Kingpin being Kingpin, so there's shenanigans afoot. It's actually really good.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I didn't expect. See, that thing of it is, I got thrown off because I saw Solicit, and I was like, "When the hell did Kingpin come to mayor?" And I read up on it, I was like, "Oh, this is actually really good." Okay, which is interesting because that's the beginning of this game. Is you take down Kingpin, and I think he might be a factor in the second game because he's going to get out of jail.
Yeah, so I like the fact that the tutorial level isn't just like hey guys, it's Stan Lee, which, I love his little cameo.
They could have easily did that. They could have easily been like, we're going to have Spider-Man in a virtual reality tutorial with Stan Lee talking.
Well, okay, so if you remember in the original PlayStation games, he was the narrator. And it was like, hey, true believer, and all that kind of shit. And that was awesome because, I mean, that's, one of Spider-Man's daddies. And I love it. But I like how in this one, I love how this game takes a very, 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 very cinematic approach to its storytelling. It's not, you feel like you're playing a movie, or you feel like you just are Spider-Man. And, the Kingpin level, I love how they throw you into it. They throw you into the shit.
Oh yeah, I mean, you get your little thing where you're fighting his minions on the street, and stuff, which is cool. And then it's like, oh yeah, so now we gotta take Kingpin down and his whole thing, and it's the build up to that point.
Right, and I love how it's just like that's the introduction to this game. Is like, all right, well, now you got to go take count the Kingpin, and I love how in each section it teaches you how to dodge and swing and yada yada yada.
I think folks forget too that Kingpin is actually legit strong. So it's like, because I think I saw some people forget. It's like, how could Kingpin be Spider-Man? I'm like, Kingpin is actually legit strong. Maybe he don't have superpowers, but he's built himself up to be like a solid rock. He ain't fat. Like, he's solid. Like, you ain't taking him down without a fight.
Although I wish they would just come out and say like he's a mutant, because my biggest nitpick in any Spider-Man medium is always, okay, so Spider-Man is ridiculously strong. He's at least strong enough to handle a car, like pick up a car, which is pretty fucking strong.
I mean, did you ever read Superior Spider-Man where Doc Ock punched Scorpion's jaw off?
Yeah.
I'm like, because Parker has never done that. Like, that tells you. And funny thing is, too, in the game, Taskmaster literally tells Parker, hey, you're pulling your punches. And he's like, yeah, I'm not trying to kill people. Like, I'm just trying to put them down.
Right. So that's my thing. It's like, okay, for instance, the Spider-Man 2 movie, you have Doc Ock become, this villain or whatever. He's gone crazy.
Yeah.
But okay, so he gets the arms bonded to him, and we all know that story. But why the fuck is he able to take a punch Spider-Man?
Yeah.
that's the one thing that always was kind of like, oh, come on, guys. Like, he's supposed to be ridiculously strong. He can fucking lift cars, which are, 2.5, 3 times, depending on the car, and all this shit. Why can Doc Ock take a clean punch to the jaw from him?
Yeah.
And I love that Taskmaster. It's almost like Insomniac covered every fucking base, because Taskmaster's like, hey, man, like, quit pulling your punches.
Well, that was a nice little touch, because even Taskmaster was like, hey, and let me tell you right now, S.H.I.E.L.D. is the one that hired Taskmaster. I'm already calling it right now. You ain't going to tell me there's...
Think so?
I think so. I don't know who else would pay Taskmaster to study Spider-Man. I really don't know. Unless it was Norman. Because he did say that...
Yeah, that's possible, too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying S.H.I.E.L.D. I mean, do you have a theory?
I like that one. I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me. Like, yeah, all right, it would be S.H.I.E.L.D. Not unless they want to. S.H.I.E.L.D. makes the most sense. You could always throw in Hydra. You could always throw in some other kind of villain sect. But I think S.H.I.E.L.D. makes the most sense because as like I was explaining to my buddy, I was like, dude, as amazing as this game is, and as big as the map is, et cetera, do you realize that the next installment is only going to be bigger? Like, look at the Batman games. When we played Arkham Asylum, everyone was like, holy shit, how do you top this game? Then they come out with Arkham City, and you're like, fuck, dude, it's the whole city, but it still wasn't the city. It still wasn't the whole... And then Night comes out like, hey...
Oh, yeah, we're going to open it up even more.
Yeah, now it's the islands of Gotham, and it's the car. So I was telling my buddy, I was like, that New York... I mean, number one, why does it have to be in New York again? Like,
yeah, they can open it up to different towns, like Washington, D.C., or they can bounce it around and have New York and D.C. or California or something. They could easily do it if they wanted to.
Like, he's not... I mean, Spider-Man is traditionally a New York character, but, like, why does his entire story have to take place? I mean, like, movie, they're saying that...
in London.
Yeah, it's in London. So, like, yeah, he's traditionally a New York hero, but...
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that he can't, especially in this one. I mean...
That was one of the things that made it hard for me to go back and play the... as much as I love the Hulk Ultimate Destruction game, I felt that New York in that game was very small.
Yeah.
So it's to be honest with you, after playing this game, it's hard for me to go and play some of the older games like that because it just feels so small in comparison, even though they were touted at the time as being like, this is New York as the Hulk, and it's like, it's all right. It just isn't as big and expansive, which it also makes me laugh at the jokes about like how Daredevil is like, the hero of Hell's Kitchen, and then Hell's Kitchen in this game feels smallish a little bit.
Well, I was explaining to my buddy, I was like, dude, okay, look, like, Daredevil exists. Harlem is pretty big.
Oh, Harlem's big. I'll legit say that. Yeah. It is big.
So, like, I was like, if you put this in context, Hell's Kitchen is not that fucking big. Like, it's a couple miles, but it's not like the size of Los Angeles. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, Daredevil doesn't. So I was like, this whole notion that he only protects Hell's Kitchen is kind of stupid because Hell's Kitchen is not that big. He's based out of Hell's Kitchen. But I was like, yeah, and Harlem's pretty fucking big. I mean, Harlem is, you have East and West, all kind of shit. Hell's Kitchen is just Hell's Kitchen. There's usually no, west side of Hell's Kitchen. It's just Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah. And it just feels like Matt just helps out wherever he's needed at, even though they say Hell's Kitchen. Right. It's like, oh, he helps out. That's why he keeps saying downtown, I'm helping out. It's like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Cool, fine.
Right. So, like, I like that. I mean, did you catch a lot of, like, the Nelson and Murdoch
when you got the business cards, because I was collecting all the book bags. Yeah, I got this from this blind guy. He said in case I needed help as Spider-Man. Wait, how do you know I was Spider-Man? So it's like, yeah. Which, funny thing about this game, right? So you have Avengers Tower, which I know a lot of folks are like, where's the Avengers at? And I'm like, but Avengers are not going to... Don't get it twisted. It is weird a little bit. Like, at one point when you get near the end of the game, Silver Sable and her crew basically impose martial law in this chaos, right? Mm-hmm. And I think in any other game, you would have had other heroes pop in, like Luke Cage up in Harlem would have popped in. And I was like, I think Insomniac, if they wanted to, they could have did that, but I think it would have kind of took away from the overarching narrative of Spider-Man. Because then it's like, well, Spider-Man could have helped. It could have helped them out against them at the raft. So, you had to let Spider-Man do his own thing and do that and stuff. So that was my
Well, I like that they're not trying to shoehorn. Yeah, I mean, yes, where were the Avengers? Where was Luke Cage? Where was Daredevil, et cetera, et cetera? Like, what I really like is that Insomniac doesn't feel the need to cater to everybody in the sense that, like, so before the game came out, I saw some footage of, guys fighting, like, for instance, in that construction scene, that level where you have to protect Kingpin's men from Mr. Negative's men. You straight knock dudes off the fucking building. I'm like, those motherfuckers are dead. Like, I don't care what you said. And I do like that if you notice that certain guys will get webbed to the side of the building. Like,
I thought people got killed, and then, like, somebody pointed it out on Twitter. I was like, I think somebody else had said, it's weird, you can punch people off the side of the building and they die, and someone was like, no, if you pay attention, when you punch them off to the side and you finish your fight, you see guys webbed up on wherever direction you kicked them in. They're either webbed to the side of the building or they webbed to another building you kicked them at. And
hold on a second. That's true primarily. There was a part in the game, I was knocking motherfuckers off the building, like, I'm talking, past city block. And I would go exactly to where I'm like, okay, those motherfuckers are dead. Like, let's just call a spade a spade. But I like how Insomniac, they actually addressed it. We're like, look, it's a video game. You got to suspend disbelief. Yeah. You know what I mean? Spider-Man doesn't kill. And basically, we did our best with, like, webbing the guys to buildings and shit. But when you knock a guy off a building and he flies down 3 blocks, he's dead. Oh, yeah, and I like how they were like, we're just not going to address it. Like, fuck it. Like, why do we have to address the minutia of everything? Because you know how people are. They want answers to everything now. And Insomniac's like, we don't, but, like, fuck it.
We'll address I think they did a good job of addressing the immediate, what happens to the guys that are right there in his face that he kicks off. And it's like, exactly. He just webs them up on the side. All right, that makes sense. Cool.
Exactly. And then, like, I saw I don't know if he was from Insomniac, but he's like, hey, just don't knock him off the building as far. You know what I mean?
Which is easy because you got gadgets, which I think. Okay, so over the course of the game, right? I almost made the mistake because I was just going for the platinum, and I saw somebody put out there, hey, if you haven't beat the game and you want to get all the costumes, do not touch any of the challenge tokens. I'm like, really? And then like once I got to the end of the game, I was like, oh, I see why, because you'll be tempted to like upgrade some of the gadgets, but there's only certain gadgets that I felt was useful. Like I like the web impact ones. I like
awesome.
The electric ones were good.
Web bomb.
The web bomb was even more good, especially if I wanted to do stealth in certain ones. I didn't do the one that shoots out like the little sound wave. I never used that one.
So I used it, but it was just to see what it looked like. Like that one, I thought was a weird choice for him. The stasis.
Spider bots, I never used at all.
The stasis one was weird. So I used impact webbing probably the most. I used web bomb. I did use the drone a lot.
I never used it. How useful was that?
Oh, dude, I mean, that saved my ass like multiple times because at the very least, he distracts some of the guys.
Yeah.
And I played it on hard, like whatever, spectacular, whatever that is.
Yeah, yeah.
And, I mean, there are times where you just get ganged up on. And, you know, even level 50 with all the gadgets, if I go do some of the Sable things right now, I still might get killed because there's so many of them. And and I love how, you know how in certain games, like, you're read by a bunch of villains and they take turns?
Yeah.
This one, they're like, fuck it, get him.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know?
I think, was it one of the suit's powers? I think it's from when you, if you switch off, because I gotta be real, I loved all the costume homages, because you had, okay, so let's tally it up. You had the classic Spider-Man suit, right? You had your new suit. You had the black and red suit that you get for doing the Black Cat sub-story, which is dope. I think she's going to factor in the sequel as well. Let's see, you had the electric insulated one, which I knew vaguely of, but apparently he used that against Electro, which I didn't know.
Yeah, I've seen it before.
The Fear Itself one, which to be honest with you, I don't even remember in that costume.
Neither do I.
Yeah, and I probably because I just didn't. I think I did read Fear Itself, but I think at the time I just didn't care at that point because I just felt it was an unnecessary little event that Marvel was doing. You got the homemade suit, which I thought was pretty dope. Iron Spider
from Homecoming or the wrestling one?
From Homecoming. The wrestling one, okay. I might go back in the game and just play as that one because I thought that was interesting. Okay, so Spider-Man Last Stand. I was not familiar with that book costume.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's an interesting costume.
Yeah, it looks like a CW costume, to be honest with you.
The boots and everything.
Yeah. The Mark II armor, I thought it was alright. The big time one, the green and black one. I think you had the Red Hood looking one. I used the Mark IV one, where he has the green Spider-Man in the middle and it's like metallic. Oh,
the glowing, where he has the glowing eyes and shit?
Yeah. I used that one.
That's a favorite of mine. That's a personal favorite.
Yeah, I never.
But I'm still reading Worldwide right now, and that's what he's in that book.
Oh, okay, cool. I never knew he had a negative Spider-Man. I didn't know that. That was.
I've seen it.
Yeah, I used a little bit of Spider-Man Noir just for the power set. I always thought that was an interesting costume for what they were doing for that little story and stuff. I don't remember Secret War Spider-Man, so that costume.
Oh, I do. Real Del Otto created that one. I'm probably butchering his name, but I mean that guy. He's one of those guys that paints like he's a very, very, very classically trained painter.
Uh-huh.
And if you see a lot of his artwork, it kind of has that. Are you remembering Frazetta?
Yeah.
Like the Conan, it kind of has a little bit of like a hint of Frank Frazetta to me.
Okay.
And he's the one that designed that suit. It's not. I mean, listen. It's like I could see that as like a Miles suit because Miles has that same color scheme of the black body with the red webbing.
Yeah.
And I like that it introduces the blue spider that kind of wraps around.
Uh-huh.
I like the way it looks. but I didn't really use it too often.
Yeah, I use Scarlet Spider a lot because I'm a fan of that simple design.
Powerful 90s homage.
Yo, but you know what's dope about those costumes though is that like even with Scarlet Spider, it doesn't have that 90s look to it. It looks like it's the look to an extent.
So that's what, I mean, that's another thing we got to talk about, because for someone like me, I'm such a nerd with aesthetics. Like, I love, like when Homecoming came out, I was like, I love that he's got the web cartridges on his belt. I love, you know, the look of the web shooters. I like how the black piping up his arm connects directly to the web shoot. Like, so I look at shit like that because I'm an artist and I like designs, and it's like, okay, well, what material would they use? And even when you play the game, like specifically in certain instances where, like, you know, you would stop like a carjacking or whatever, and you would catch the car, you could very clearly see that the blue was a different material than the red on his suit in the advanced suit.
Yep.
And I love shit like that. I was like, dude, it looks like it was more of like it has like a Lycra look.
Yeah.
And then the red almost has like a padded armor look. But going back to what you said, like Scarlet Spider, if you zoom in on him, he's got like those ninja feet.
Yeah.
You know, with like the two toes. He's got like different material for like part of his suit. If you look at his mask has like, I don't know why, I like seams in costumes. I love seams. And there was a lot of seams. Here's my question. What the fuck? Who wears ankle pouches?
Yeah, that threw me off. I was like, huh, he has ankle pouches. Okay.
And it's still for the 90s. I mean, he wore the pouches in the 90s, but I was like, God damn, why would he have ankle pouches? Like, even
even the Spider-Punk costume, it has that same aesthetic too.
Well, you know what's cool about it? I mean, again, is like if you look at Spider-Punk's shoes, the bottom of his shoes make up the classic Spidey symbol.
Yep.
And then, like, I mean, one of my favorite things was switching the suits and looking at the loading screens. Because, like, on the Secret Wars, the black one with the blue, if you look at... So I saw some of the loading screens where you could see the bottom of his feet. You could see that they took... where, like, the rest of his shoes were, like web patterns.
Yeah.
And I was like, God, the attention to detail, man. It's like, it's incredible. And my favorite suit, aside from is 2099.
Which one, though? Which one? The white one or the blue one?
Fuck the white one. I'm not a big fan of the white one. But...
yeah.
Like the classic 29, I mean, it's not better than the but like, I just love the fact that it's kind of got that skull spider on it. Mm-hmm. And, you know, the eyes are kind of like an ambiguous shape, and he's got claws and shit. I don't know if you got to zoom in on that one. Even that one has like, it's primarily blue.
Yeah. But
there are certain sections of the body that are black, and they're accented by red seams and like red tech or what. You know what I mean?
I mean, because you see the details whenever they do in between, even in the regular game, in between, like whenever you're doing the little story mode and stuff and it's loading, they do the details where you have them in the different poses, and you can see those little intricate details on those costumes and stuff. Because I think Insomniac, they were doing kind of like they were doing the whole thing of their design suits, because like I said, one of their things was when they were designing the Spider-Man video game suit, they wanted to have a unique design that was unique to where people see that costume and be like, oh, that's from the Spider-Man video game, and it wasn't that was from this comic. So they were saying, like you were saying, they were saying the whole thing of, look at the design, we have the white thing to kind of show that it was distinct from the blue, which is supposed to be kind of like show flexibility in the costume, and the red is supposed to represent armor-ish a little bit and all that stuff.
Right, and what I really like is that, so like when the picture came out originally of, you know, Insomniac Spider-Man, obviously the first thing you notice is like the white spider. And my first reaction was like, all right, first of all, there's only one costume that he has that should have a white spider. And we all know what that is.
Oh, yeah, we know.
Yeah. But when in the game, when you read those plans where Doc Ock is designing it, and he says the white is to contrast, it's made of like a flexible polycarbonate, and it draws the eye to the chest, which is where, kind of like Batman, where it's where the most armor is.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I get it. And then he's got like the knuckle dusters, which I get. The one I didn't get was like the gauntlet down the wrist.
Yeah,
I couldn't really understand. The only thing I could come up with was I was like, I don't know, maybe it's like a brace support for his swinging.
I guess.
You know? Like, but the suit definitely grew on me, and I don't know if you noticed, but it was kind of a mixture between the spider from Raimi's Spider-Man, which was on the back, I believe.
Yeah.
And then the Amazing Spider-Man, which I believe is on the front.
Yeah. I mean, what's funny is that I messed around looking at the Iron Spider from Homecoming. It takes a minute to grow on you a little bit. I guess maybe because when you play, because there was two costumes, like the Iron Spider. I wish they gave you the Iron Spider from the comics instead of the one from the Infinity War.
Dude, I hate that fucking costume so much.
Oh, which one?
The one from the comics with the fucking spats.
Oh, the
gold spats.
With the red one, the red and gold one.
Yeah, I hate that so.
I know. I like the slip, but yeah, I'm to be honest with you, I like the Superior Spider-Man one, which was kind of an offshoot of it because the color scheme was a bit better. Because I think the Superior Spider-Man one kind of was like an homage to the Todd McFarlane Spider-Man scheme that they were going for. That one and okay, so. I messed around and there were a couple missions that I played as the vintage Spider-Man, and it definitely looks weird against the like graphics of the game a little bit.
Dude, that was so like yeah, you're right, it does, but it's so clean.
Yeah. You
know what I mean? Like when you see him animated, like I put that costume on and I just walked down the street to see how it moved and to see if there was any glitches and like the seamlessness. I mean, I wish there was a mod that you could play the whole game like that. Because there was somebody put I don't know if you did photo mode, but I became obsessed with it. And there was a picture that somebody posted of the scene where he rescues Mary Jane from jumping off the Osborn building.
Yeah.
And he like swings her by.
Yeah.
So he's got that vintage suit, but it's like the CGI her. Mm-hmm. And it's fucking hysterical. But it's just like it's so clean with the black lines and everything.
Yeah, it definitely is. I'm just sitting there like, huh, okay, I'm fine with this. You know, it takes like it makes me also just kind of want a cel shaded kind of Spider-Man game again now, just because of how clean it looked.
Yeah, but like, I mean, Insomniac already said they're working on Game Plus, which we need like tomorrow.
Oh man, no bullshit.
Yeah, because like right now I think I'm at 98%, and I'm like, there's only like 4 more climbs to stop, and that's it, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't like how you can't replay missions. Like, I want to play that. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about it in a minute. But, like, I would love to see a mod where everything is cel-shaded. I have no idea what goes in that. I'm sure it can't be easy.
Pretty extensive.
Okay, so, I mean, that would be fun. Even, like, a noir. Like, if you pick the noir suit and you just had, like, a sepia tone.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool. But, I mean, I love that. And I also like that they're releasing 50 packs, and they said each pack would contain 3 new suits. So what do you think they'll be?
One of them is going to probably end up being the Superior Spider-Man one.
I love that one.
I would like to think they're going to probably eventually get the comic book version of the Iron Spider. That's just a guess. We might get the Black Suit Spider-Man non-symbiote version.
What do you mean?
The one that
the black suit.
Yeah, just the black suit. That's not the symbiote. I think the one. Yeah, I think that's the one in the comics Black Cat gave him. And I think that was the one that he was using when Aunt May got shot. And if they did, and this is just me, we might get 90s Todd McFarlane suit Spider-Man, possibly. That's just
with like the gigantic eyes.
Yeah, that and like the color scheme and things like that. Trying to think. This is a lot of suits. I mean, hell, we might even get the silver and black suit from the 90s. You remember that one?
The armor one?
Yeah, that armor one again. It's like, hey, I see that happening, you know.
I had that toy.
Yeah. Because I think, okay, so they said they're going to release DLCs. If we're going back to the story and stuff, what was your favorite mission out of the game? Like, if you had, like, top 3 missions.
Hands down the construction site. That was, because the construction site is what, when you have to save fifth men from Negative's men.
Yeah.
First of all, like the way that Okay, so like, remember the first Amazing Spider-Man movie? They came out with a tie-in game on Xbox 360. At the time, that was my favorite Spider-Man game because you had the web zip, you had the way that he would move around the city. Like, I actually went back about 8 months ago and replayed that just for shits.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's dated, but at the time, you were like, this is the best they've made him look in a game in terms of the way he swings and the way he moves. And you can see a lot of that game in this one, but my point being is, like, in the construction zone where you had to rescue Fisk's men, that's, I don't know, roughly halfway through the game, and by then you've kind of, you know, mastered the way he swings, when to let go, when to attain, you know, velocity, etc. And, like, you know, no big deal, but, like, I had really kind of gotten the hang of, like, swinging around something and, like, letting go and then jumping and zipping and shit like that. And, you know, like, going from, because you have to kind of climb the levels of the construction site, and by that point I had gotten the hang of, like, jumping, like, that charge jump. I don't know if you got that, but, like, I unlocked that ability where he can, like, run and just jump, like, 80 feet in the air, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, I'd gotten those gadgets and those upgrades, and it felt really fucking cinematic of, like, you know, clearing out the inner demons, and I had gotten, like, the impact web and shit like that. But that was also the I don't know if you call it a level, but, like, the part of the game that they had previewed at E3 2 years ago, where he's running through the office building as that, like, crane or whatever.
Yeah.
Is like, and at the time of E3, I was like, there's no way that that's playable. Fuck you. There's no way that that's playable. And shit, man, that was a playable portion. And, you know, I have to give Insomniac credit, because I don't know if you were able to, like, in that portion, you know, like, for instance, a shelf would fall down and the shelf is cubed. If you were able to time it, you could dive right through that cube as it was falling.
Yeah, it's like, I've seen people do that, and it's like, you got to be lucky as hell to do that. I mean, it's little moments like that, because I think at one point, when you're doing one of the missions, you actually get a little small tutorial that'll pop up and be like, oh yeah, if you want to do the little dive through obstacles, this is how you do it. I accidentally did it way before that tutorial popped up, by accident, because I think I was like doing one of the construction fights, and I was going through a little small part of construction. I did it, and I was like, holy shit, how the hell did I do that? And I could never do it until they got to that scene.
Yeah, like, so if you just swing around the city, if you time it properly and you swing and you web zip near a water tower, it does the exact same thing. You'll go through the frame of the water tower, like, at a 360 spin.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, going back to that portion, like, when you're chasing after the inner demons, and, like, that crane is, like, wrecking that side of the building, and then you have to walk up and run up the crane, and then you have to, like, web shoot the hook to the side of the building. I mean, the whole thing, I don't think I took a breath once.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this and God of War are probably the most cinematic games I think I've ever played, because it just felt like one seamless thing. And then even when you get out of the building and then you have the chase helicopter and you're swinging around the city and they're shooting missiles at you and you can dodge the missiles, and I was just like, God damn, like, I mean, the level design, the fact that it's during the day because Spider-Man's, like, a light character, like, everything to me, that's the portion of the game where I was like, this is maybe the most cinematic game, again, aside from God of War, that I've ever played, and this is probably the most fun I've had in any superhero game I've ever played, is that particular portion, because it's almost seamless. Like, when you're diving and you get that first-person view of his web shooters, and you're just tapping L1 or whatever real quick.
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, they literally saw everything, and the way that he moves throughout that portion is like, God damn, these people really, really, really understand this character. And side note, I love the way he talks shit to everybody.
Oh man, listen, the shit talking was through the roof. Because here's the thing, so we talk about the villains that they had in there. Tombstone, we talk about him a lot. I like the angle that they did for him, where he's a biker instead of like a mobster type figurehead. And I think it worked.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't expecting it, because when Mary Jane was like, "Oh yeah, I'm visiting these bikers," I was like, "Bikers? I mean, I wonder who's going." I was like, "Oh, Tombstone, huh? Interesting." And even his fight was dope. I like it. I think that was a great revamp on them. All the bad guys got semi revamps because Electro was not wearing that silly ass costume. He just had a vest, powered him up.
Which, again, it goes to the point of the design. Like, there's an art book that was just released I got to get, but I heard it goes through a lot more in depth. And, like, I'm a sucker. People always assume that, like, because I'm a comic book nerd, like, when I see movies or whatever, I want everything to be the same as the comic books, which isn't true. Like, there are certain things to me you can't get away from. Batman has to have a cape, the Joker has to have the red lips, etc., etc. I'm pretty open to, interpretations. Like in Arkham Knight, I really liked that armored batsuit.
Yeah.
I thought it worked.
That's kind of like the Injustice armored batsuit a little bit.
Yeah, I thought it was the best. I thought it looked better because it gave the color scheme of the gray and the black.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at it, it also had like armoring on his thighs, but then like the crotch had armor, but then like the inner thigh was more of like a like a padded material. And I love shit like that. I love where you can see different materials. And when you look at the Sinister Six, especially when you find Otto's lair, and I don't know if you did that thing where did you read everything?
For which one?
So you find his lair, and he's got all the Sinister Six, helmets.
Oh yeah. I listened to all the tapes and stuff of what he was doing, because I thought it was interesting with Vulture, that idea of him actually contracting, was it cancer, because of the suit. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh wow, that's interesting, because I think in the books he's just an old dude that just flies around in a suit, and that's really the only thing that's kind of his hang up, is that he's just old.
He's old as fuck, and he got kicked out of his own company.
Yeah, this time it was like, oh no, that suit gave him cancer, and Ock is trying to fix him. And even with Rhino, the idea that he's stuck in that suit and Doc Ock is able to get him out the suit, it's like, oh, okay.
But even that, I mean, like, if you look at Rhino, I love the look of his helmet. It wasn't like, Rhino is a tricky character to do, because a lot of times you can see his full face, and you just see like little rhino ears in the back, and he got a little horn, and he looks fucking ridiculous.
It's like they either they go full blown, he's in a skin tight suit and he has the horn, like, or you get this where it's like, or like even the Ultimate Spider-Man, he was a dude in a robot suit, and it seems like this one was like, he has like armor. It's not a skin tight suit, and also he's a naturally big dude too as well. So
right, and I love that, like, when they were talking about it, like, I love his helmet and how it naturally formed kind of a rhino shape. You know what I mean? Again, it wasn't like you could see this guy's full face. And so the Halloween where they're at the costume party and you see the guy in the rhino costume, I love how they took the ridiculous, like the Mysterio and shit. I love how they took the 60s versions and were like, here you go. That's how Rhino traditionally looks. It's like he's a goofy guy.
Yeah.
But I like how they explain that Doc developed that corrosive for Rhino's armor that would get him out. Electro, you could notice that his scarring on his face was the kind of starfish shape, not that goofy-ass mask.
Yep.
Like, I love this bald, because you're like, if he's got electric powers and he could do that, he wouldn't have any fucking hair.
Yeah.
Right. And I love how he had that vest, and you could see, like, conduits and wiring and shit going down his arms.
He beefed him up. Gotta be
and that was, Electro was Josh Keaton, who previously was Spider-Man in Spectacular Spider-Man.
Yeah. I love the boss fights, because I like that instead of it being one-on-one, like some games would do it, it was like, oh, he has to fight two people at the same time. And I think they did a pretty job of it not being overwhelming, because my fear when you had to fight Vulture and Electro, it was going to be very overwhelming, but it wasn't.
No, it was, I mean, each one, my favorite was Rhino and Scorpion, but
yeah,
I mean,
Vulture and
Electro.
Yeah, it was probably the better one, just because it was more manageable, at least to me.
Well, I mean, again, like, I like how with this one, I mean, if you look at Vulture, he's got a flight mask, but it's in the shape of
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I was looking at it, I was like, I'd have put some goggles on him because your eyes would dry out, but whatever.
Yeah.
And I did like how they gave him the razor wings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which is one thing in the movie I was like, God damn it, just give it to me. I know it doesn't make any sense. I know it's impractical, but just give it to me.
Yeah.
You know, at Homecoming, I was like, just give me the fucking...
It's like, please.
Throw some... Yeah, even when the suit's falling apart, just throw the wings at him. But, I mean, going back to the design real quick, even the way that his helmet kind of had, like, these little pinchers on the sides.
Yeah. And side note, the Spider-Man levels where after Scorpion poisons him is probably one of the more fun and trippy segments, especially how it ends where Peter was like, how the hell did I get out this suit? What the hell happened?
Very, very, very Arkham Asylum with Scarecrow.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, very. I mean, it was awesome, and I love.
It wasn't
that
trippy as Arkham Knight's thing with how, you know, I think Bruce was still kind of feeling the effects of the Scarecrow stuff because he was, you know, talking with Joker, and I think Joker somehow was taking control of him and stuff. It wasn't as trippy as that, but it was almost there.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's... I mean, I got to take it back. Like, so the construction scene was one of my favorites, but then when you get to the Rikers...
Yeah.
That whole scene was like, oh my God. And, you know, induced the Sinister Six for the first time.
Yeah.
And you get to look at him, and then you finally get that reveal of Doc. That's my new favorite version of Dr. Octopus. Like, the way that they designed his arms...
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, so when you first see that arm, it's Kurt Connors, but then they kind of explain how that arm turns into the tentacles and the fingers at the end. It has, like, these blades. I was like, this is the best version. Oh, what's this suit? Would you believe it's for welding? I'm like, it fucking makes sense.
Yep.
You know? And everything made sense. And when he finally showed up, he's got a receding hairline. I was like, oh, fuck, that's Doc Ock. Like, he doesn't have some goofy-ass orange and green costume. He doesn't have this weird, like, Austrian accent or whatever the fuck. He doesn't look like Elton John. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it plays it very straight-ish and stuff. Like, it's kind of like it was kind of like the mandate for what Marvel was doing with the Ultimate Universe, that they were kind of ditching the hokey outfits for certain characters and kind of streamlining it a little bit with their costumes. So I think Doc Ock in the Ultimate Universe didn't have that bowl cut look. He had an actual suit, kind of like this game a little bit. They played it very kind of straight and to the point, even though he still had the silver mechanical arms, but they played it straight laced with the suits and stuff.
Yeah, like, I like that. It was just very... I hate to use the word practical, but practical like... It's practical within the context of that universe. Like, his suit was, you know, a welder suit or whatever.
Yeah. And he had help from AIM. I hope people didn't miss this. Like, AIM kind of provided him some stuff for it, so I hope people realize AIM could be a problem in the next game, possibly, in some capacity.
So what if AIM hired Taskmaster?
Yeah. I mean, you know what? That is another idea, too. Taskmaster, that is a character that they've done such a good job with the design of evolving over the years that it just works. Like, he doesn't have the cape anymore, but he still has that mask and hoodie kind of thing, and they made his costume like an armor thing, which makes sense.
He was very, very like Deathstroke.
And he has a laser sword, which I think is pretty dope.
I mean, all right, but
hey, look, I thought he was going to get the cap shield too, but we didn't get that. But I was like, whatever, I'm fine with it.
No, I mean, I absolutely love, like, even the design of, like, the human characters, like Mary Jane. To me, that's my favorite version of Mary. She's pretty, she's attractive, she's in great shape, but she's not like this ridiculous looking, like, Instagram model, you know, with fake lips and shit. Like, she's just a very attractive girl.
Oh, yeah.
And Peter, like, he wasn't ugly. He's 23 now, so he wasn't ugly. You could tell he was a little bumbling when he had conversations with them. They showed the pictures of him. It's like, all right, I can buy Peter at 23 years old looking like that. I can buy that. No problem.
Yeah.
Aunt May, she wasn't this feeble old lady. You know, she still had color in her hair. Like, I love how they took this practical approach to everything. Even Silver Sable. Like, she wasn't this, like, again, supermodel and skin tight clothing and shit. She was like kind of, you know, militaristic.
Okay, I know that they ditched doing a silver and black movie, right? And
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't expect Silver Sable to be in this movie, and I also wasn't expecting her to have her whole paramilitary group there. So I was really thinking back to them doing a silver and black movie. I'm like, I can see how they could do a black movie now, given what this game did with Silver Sable and stuff, because like they did enough with kind of her background to where she didn't wear out her welcome.
I don't, because if you don't have it tied to Spider-Man, I don't care.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
How are you going to have if you put Black Cat in a Spider-Man movie and she becomes this like amazing character? Sure, spin her off. I get it.
Yeah.
You know, that worked great for Catwoman. But but like to this universe that Sony's building, to me, I have no interest in, because you don't. It's a tangent, but like my whole thing with Venom was like, fine, you don't want to use Peter Parker, use Miles. Just use Miles as your Spider-Man.
But that's what everybody kept saying, because it's like, look, I get that Marvel, Disney, they're using Peter Parker, right? There was nothing in that deal with Marvel that said that they couldn't use Miles Morales Spider-Man, or hell, they couldn't use Silk, they could use Gwen Stacy, you know, whatever. They could have used 2099 Spider-Man in some way if they wanted to, if they felt like it, right?
That was fucking Ben Reilly.
Yeah, they could have used Ben Reilly, and that was the one thing that I kept saying. I was like, look, okay, you don't have Peter Parker. You could use Ben Reilly or Miles, and you would have been fine. People just want a Spider-Man connected to it, because otherwise it's nothing. It's like, what the hell is this? You know?
And I love the animated movie coming out. I think it looks fucking awesome, and I love that Miles is I'm actually kind of bummed in that movie that Peter's in it.
Yeah, because they kind of, it felt like they pulled the shim sham, and I'm hoping it's not a movie where Spider-Gwen and Peter kind of take over the movie instead of it being about Miles. I'm hoping to God, even though I know it's about the Spider-Verse, I hope it's still structurally still centered on Miles. I hope it is.
Well, that, and I hope it's structured on Miles, because I think I love the way he looks in the movie. I love the Shamik Moore voice. I love
his relationship with his dad. That's funny.
Yeah, I fucking love that guy. But like, I like the fact that they're, you know, finally giving, because when people were like, "Oh, it's going to be animated," what does that mean? It doesn't mean, you know, animated movies are fucking fantastic.
Well, yeah.
But my problem is, in that Spider-Verse, is like, don't make Peter Parker this gross, bumbling idiot to uplift Miles. Like, don't make Peter Parker somebody you dislike so you like Miles.
He looks like he's
you know what I mean?
like he's more laid back than bumbling Peter. I'm hoping that's the case.
He's like overweight, broke, gross.
He don't look overweight. That's the thing. It just looks like he's just like, you know, like, okay, he's just kind of like, okay, I agree with you on the fact that he has the 5 o'clock shadow-ish and stuff. I'm like, I hope that's to the extent of what it is, and it isn't just, he's just a laid-back dude. It's like, hey, I'm Peter Parker here, but hey, I'm here now, and that kind of thing. So hopefully that's the case.
Like, I mean, so going back to the game, but the way that they look and everything, I mean, I put it up on Twitter. I said, like, Insomniac has single-handedly created my new favorite visual representations of these villains. Like, I don't see how you present a Doc Ock in a quote-unquote practical sense and make him better than that. You know, same thing. Mr. Negative is Mr. Negative, but like...
I mean, they motion captured the guy that voices him, and they also motion captured homegirl that plays May Parker. I think, was it Nancy Lanari? Motion captured her. They motion captured dude that voices Miles Morales. Was it
he's got the face. Like, I just watched an interview with him. He has different hair, and he's a little shorter, little on the like heavier side.
Yeah.
But his face is Miles, and like his voice obviously is Miles.
Yeah.
Like Yuri Lowenthal is in his 40s, I believe.
Oh yeah, and he's been out here for a while.
He's been Ben 10. He's been fucking Superman. He's been he's been out there for a minute. But you have to give credit. I mean, I saw on on Twitter, I was like, people have argued now that he has done for Spider-Man what Kevin Conroy has done.
Oh, no doubt, man.
Which it's a tricky one because, like, I don't think Neil Patrick Harris did a bad job when he was Spider-Man. I don't think Josh Keaton. It just depends on what Spider-Man you're playing.
Yeah. I mean, every one, even if you go back to the Spider-Man Amazing Friends, they represented that era of Spider-Man. Because
Dan Gilbazan.
Yeah, you can never. It's like you can never sit there and say that there was ever a bad Spider-Man. I think it comes down to preference. Like, it ain't like it. Well,
Tobey Maguire.
Well, I'm talking about on the animated side. I ain't talking about like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because it's like it ain't like, say, the Joker, where it's like everybody immediately goes to Mark Hamill. Like, it's rarely that you ever hear anybody say, "I like Kevin Michael Richardson's Joker from the Batman," even though he was playing.
I loved it.
Yeah, I loved it too and stuff. But it's rare that you hear that and stuff. But I like that Kevin Michael Richardson put his own spin on it, and it made it different instead of just being a Mark Hamill, regurgitation. I like that. So it's like people go to that, but with Spider-Man, it's hard for people to really kind of like. I mean, like you said, some majority of people will go to Yuri, but people have their like, okay, I like this character or I like that character, because even.
Well, I mean, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, like, for the 90s, Christopher Daniel Barnes. I mean, he was the 90s Spider-Man, and a lot of people... To me, it's always like this. It's like, what voice do you hear when you read... Kevin Conroy, to me, is the voice of Batman. Read Batman comic books, that's the voice that I hear.
Even Superman,
you know what I mean?
I hear freaking Tim Daly.
Tim Daly, yeah.
Easily.
Yeah. Superman, to me, is because he had that calm, earnest, like, voice that I picture him to have. I think Cavill did a good job with the voice, but, like, Tim Daly... With Spider-Man, it always depends on what age he is. Like, Josh Keaton is probably my, like, teenage Spider-Man.
Yeah.
From Spectacular. But Yuri Lowenthal, man, I mean, it's funny. If you him and you listen to him, you're like, God damn, it just doesn't match.
Yeah.
It's almost like Cam Clark, who did the voice of Leonardo in the original Turtles and was the voice of the new He-Man from the 2000s.
Yeah.
He's obviously an older man. You hear that kind of kid voice come out, you're like, oh, shit.
Side note, I would even say George Newbern because I didn't know George Newbern replaced Tim Daly as Superman. So whenever I watch Justice League, I'm thinking it's Tim Daly, and it turns out it's George Newbern. I was like, holy shit, I didn't know that.
It was good, but to me, like, in my head, he played an older Superman. Like, Justice League Superman was an older version of animated series Superman.
Yeah.
So I would say, let's say animated series was like late 20s. Yeah. I would have put Newbern like mid 30s.
Yeah.
And that's how I differentiate. Like, even, remember The Batman?
Yeah.
With Reno Romano. Okay, so like Reno Romano did Batman, and I thought he did a good young Batman. But then you had Beware the Batman, and I forgot that guy's name.
Yeah.
But he had a really good Batman voice too. So to me, it always depends on the age and what you're reading the character.
Yeah.
Like, I'm reading Worldwide right now with Spider-Man, where he's like billionaire Parker Industries, and I just hear Yuri Lowenthal. And
oh yeah, he owns his voices at this point because it's like, like you said, he's doing Ben 10. You can hear his voice. It's like, oh yeah, that's him. That's Yuri right there. Funny, if you ever watch Batman Ninja, he voices Red Hood Robin.
Yes, I did catch that. Yep.
I was like, oh, there's Yuri right there. I hear him. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, he's been around for a long time, and it's funny because I never would have thought him as Spider-Man. Like, if you hear it, you're like, of course that makes sense, and it's just such a perfect fit. But he never really registered to me as like, oh, that could be Spider-Man. And I'm glad that they cast him. Like, everybody in this game was so well cast. Even Mr. They said that during his audition, he like scared the shit out of him because
look, Mr. Negative, Martin Lee, I would say they did a good job of being subtle of building him up as Mr. Negative. Like, there was a part of me that's like, I know he's Mr. Negative. I just want to see how they build up to him going full tilt like bad guy with it. Because that part where Peter rolls out the back part of his office and he's just standing there like, did you find what you looked for?
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, does he know Peter Spider-Man? Does he know? I don't know.
That's what I thought too. I was like, oh shit, he fucking knows.
It's like, how long was he standing there? Like, it's like, did he know Peter was up there? I don't know.
Right. And the thing that I didn't understand really was that, like, okay, so Martin Lee is this like pillar of the community. He runs the shelter.
Just like
he's
the comic.
Philanthropist.
Just like the comic.
Yeah.
Philanthropist and everything.
He's a great human being. But like, did he think anyone would spot him as Mr. Negative? And when spoiler alert, when Miles' dad dies during that ceremony, he walks out of the car as Martin Lee, and I'm like, I was like, wait a minute, like, why wouldn't you just be Mr. Negative? Because yes, at least when you're in your like negative zone powers, it's hard to tell.
Possibly.
But like, you just blew everything.
But I mean, did you read that letter that he put on his desk when you're like going through his office about how like, hey, there's going to be people saying in my news, and I want you to understand that, hey, that's what I'm doing, but that doesn't take away what I was doing at Feast. It was not a front. Like, I like that he has that side to him where it's like, hey, I have a reason for why I'm being Mr. Negative, and yeah, it's wrong, but I want people to know that whole thing and all the goodwill that I'm doing, that's what I really wanted to do. That's legit. It's not a front. It's nothing. I thought that was interesting that he actually emphasized that, because most villains would be like, okay, this was actually a front for me to actually get my way.
Right. It was almost like it kind of reminded me of Keaton as the Vulture, in that like he wasn't a terrible guy, although Martin Lee obviously kills multiple people, so he's a terrible guy. But like, you understand his motivation to get at Norman because of what Norman did to his family. But at the end of the day, like, Keaton was a family man, and Spider-Man, he loved his daughter. He was essentially doing it for them and doing it because like he had been fucked over. So like, one person would probably be like, yeah, I get it, I get it. And Martin Lee was the same way. He's like, Feast is my life's work, and it's not a front. It's everything here is how I meant it to be, but I'm going to go fuck up Norman Osborn and kill him because, blah, blah, blah. So you're right, because I like even Otto, to a degree. You're like, you kind of understand, like, oh, fuck, I get it. Like, Norman Osborn's a piece of shit.
Oh, he's still a piece of shit, yeah.
But then you learn that Norman is just trying to keep Harry alive.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? So it's all these twists and turns where you're like, fuck, I get where Lee's coming from. I mean, fuck, man, you killed a bunch of people, but, I get the motivation. Otto, I get it.
Yeah, Otto, I get. I think Otto, I was just like, yo, he really did release the freaking Devil's Breath. Like, that was cold-blooded as shit. Like, damn, he really did it.
Dude, the way he moved the tentacles, and I love the fact that he was getting that degenerative, like, tissue disease where his motor I love the fact that I don't want to see him fully immobile with his body.
Where it's just a lifeless body and him talking and the tentacles are doing it, like the comics. Later on in the comics. Yeah,
and like the Ultimate series. But like, I love the fact that he was at the beginning of that stage and how the tentacles worked for him and shit like that. Like, again, it was really fucking well designed, the execution, the acting, the voice. Like, that to me is now Doc Ock. And now, when you read Mr. Negative, like, I hear that dude's voice now. Like,
it's
that's the guy. Rhino, I love that he was running.
Yeah, they and the redesign for Shocker. Okay, so I always felt Shocker needed a redesign, right?
Yes.
And at San Diego, I saw the Shocker. And I thought it was interesting that they went with like and I hate using the term Iron Man, but they went with like an Iron Man type armor for him. But I felt it made sense.
Well, yeah, because traditionally Shockers, he wears a quilt.
Like a mesh suit.
You know what I mean? And I always hated this, like, he wears a quilt and it absorbs the energy. Now, fuck off. Like, no. And see, again, I love when people approach these things from a practical, like, yes, it's a comic book, yes, it's fiction, it's complete bullshit, but if you had a weapon that you strapped to your arms, and
sounds.
It had the ability, to, like, cause vibration sound and shit like that, it's probably going to rattle your bones, your teeth, like, what would you wear to negate that? And I love that to me, he kind of looked like a cross between, like, a stormtrooper and Iron Man. You know what I mean? Like, I like that he had this kind of practical suit because, again, if you're wearing a quilt and Spider-Man punches you, how does he not take your head off?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
with a helmet.
There was Easter eggs. There was Easter eggs when you're getting all the pets. And Spider-Man even comments on certain aspects of it, like, "Oh, this is my little cracked eyeball. I learned my lesson when who did he say punched him? I think what he said, Scorpion punched him or whatever, and it almost blinded him or whatever, and he had to like readjust." And he had like a mesh suit, make another suit to protect himself against Shocker. And like you saw like the history of how Peter, even as a character, he had to upgrade his suit, and you just learned it through those little histories of the stuff that he got in his backpack. Even
like the Mysterio glass, when he's like, "Oh, it's a piece of Mysterio's helmet. This is what I use to develop my lenses." You're like, "Oh shit, okay." You know what I mean? Like, okay. And like, I saw a lot of people online bitching about how they don't like how, you know, Peter's all teched out with the mask and shit, because in the beginning it's that very like homecoming scene where it's plugged in.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, dude, it's 2018. Like, the fact that he's wearing a cloth. Yeah, the fact that he's wearing a cloth suit with no buttons, like, it come on. Like, I mean, but that was gonna have tech.
But that's what made, and as much as I thought the beginning of it was shaky, that's what made Superior Spider-Man great, is that you had Doc Ock and Peter's body like, hold up, we need to upgrade your suit, dude, because you're really just rolling around in a fucking cloth suit. Like, you need to upgrade this shit. You know, and that's what made it cool that when Peter finally got his body back and he took over, he adapted certain things that Doc Ock did to the suit. So it's basically like this game where it's like tech-based-ish a little bit. But not too...
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't want him to be Iron Man. Well, fuck, man. I mean, when you live in a world where Tony Stark or Reed Richards or Bruce Banner or whoever are there, and you're a superhero and you're on their team, it's only natural that they kick some ideas down, you know?
Yeah.
Or share some tech. I mean, that's what scientists do. They share ideas and they share inventions and shit like that. And, you know, this idea, like, I love the fact that they explained where his new costume, okay, so it draws the eye, it's the most armored part of the suit, it's a flexible polycarbonate. I'm like, oh, fuck, okay. Because I wasn't sold on the white suit initially.
Yeah.
But then you play the game, and I'm like, I really do like the contrast, and I like that from a distance you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And, like, I like that in motion in the game. I actually use the advanced suit more. Because I'm a purist, man. When I play these games, I'm like, I want to play the story as the story's meant to be played.
Yeah.
As in, like, the advanced suit. But shout out to Insomniac, I looked at the suits are working in the cinematics.
Yeah, that was with me, because I had like I was rocking the Scarlet Spider suit from like as soon as I got it all the way to the end. So it was funny watching the cinematic at the raft where you're dodging at Scarlet Spider, you know?
Yeah.
So it's,
right, it's all fucked up and everything.
Yeah, so it was like, oh, it was interesting and stuff. And I think in this game now, I think mainly because probably it was the beginning, you saw the spider suit kind of like, before he got the Doc upgrade, it was like tattered a bit because of his pin.
Yeah.
Yeah, those little things. I wish, like, there's a part of me that wishes that they did like Arkham, because when you play the Arkham games, over time of the game, that bat suit gets messed up.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that wishes that they did in this game, but I'm not tripping, because it's like, well, it's a game. Fine. Cool. You know.
I get what you're saying. But did you all? Here's another nod to Insomniac. So when he's got the tattered red and blue, he says, "I got to change. I want seeing me with like 3 chest hairs." If you fucking zoom in on him with his chest out, he has 3 hairs.
I need to look at that. I really do.
Somebody put it on Twitter today, because there's that suit where he's got the mask and the underwear.
Yeah.
And somebody took a photo mode, and they zoomed in, and they were like, "Holy shit! You actually put 3 chest hairs on him." And they were and Insomniac wrote back, and they just said the devil's in the details.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God damn, you guys! Like, the level of creativity and attention, all this stuff, it's so impressive that, you know, you work the stupid little comment that he makes about chest hair into a skin of the game. Right. You know,
I mean, it's yeah.
It's just, you know, the one thing I didn't like was the web shooters, because where did the cartridges go?
Yeah,
he wears those little bracelets.
Yeah,
he wears those little bracelets, and they snap on. The actual nozzle snaps on. But I was like, where's the trigger?
Yeah,
on his hand, and where would you load the car? So there's one part where I was like,
Yeah, I mean, in the game, that's good. I mean, there's always going to be nitpicks because it's funny because I ain't gonna lie. So because I'm a stickler for trying to 100% the game. Okay, so and I know and I saw a lot of people complaining, which I understand, is that the tediousness of doing the crime thing, which it didn't bother me because I mean, like I said, your variation for the crime stuff was going to be stop gangs from taking over a bus, or you stop them during a car chase, which I enjoy those, to be honest with you. I love the idea of chasing down the cars, and then you stop it, and if you fail, the car flips over, or if you save it, it stops. Or, like, they're on the rooftop. Because I like rooftop fights more than anything in the game. Those were fun. Those were fun to do. And even the details, like, if you're fighting the Silver Sable things, you can pull down the tower that alerts them and stuff. It takes out the enemies too. I love that. The idea that environments can take out the enemies for you and make it easier. Those were fun. Big time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, so my hands down, my favorite part of this game is the swinging, which I think I don't know how you improve upon that. I'm sure they're going to fine tweak it for the next one, but like it really was seamless. And I love the fact that it's like based on physics. You cannot swing on something that's not there.
Yeah, that was the thing of the last. That was the thing that I love the older SpiderMan games on the PlayStation. It was basically you just throw the web up in the air and it just sticks to something invisible and that's it. Because I think they tried doing that in Ultimate Spider-Man where you can only web swing on whatever's right there. So like Queens, right, and it's like a small neighborhood, no big towers.
There ain't shit there.
Yeah, you can only web swing on like the lampposts.
Right, which even in Central Park, like you could not swing on shit until you hit the trees. Now, I mean, that's a little. You got to give a little bit there because it's like I don't think he's gonna fucking cover the the entire park.
But you could fall into the water and you couldn't do anything except for jump in the air until it actually swung on something you were near.
Right, but like, so what I'm saying is like the swinging perfect. The way that he was able to crawl and then run up the side of the building, the way that he would tackle. Have you seen the fire escapes?
Yep.
Like shit like that, like details to that. The only criticism that I have is that there were minor things. Like, for instance, if you tried to crawl around the Avengers A, for whatever reason, you can't.
Yeah, that was a little weird,
Yeah, because like I tried to get in the center of the A, and he couldn't crawl around it. So that nitpick, but like the way that he moved and the way that he would swing and move his body, like he would turn his hips as he rounded a corner.
Mm-hmm.
And shit like that, I was like, I mean, goddamn, my favorite part about this is that, like, in every Spider-Man game, Spider-Man's weapon is his web shooters. He's got non-lethal weapons. He doesn't kill, he disables. And I love in this one, he's got gadgets. I love it. But in every Spider-Man game, you could web the guy up 2 seconds, and that was it, right?
Yeah.
I love the fact that in this one, if you web a guy up and you kick him into a wall, he's done. Or if he's close enough to a wall and you hit him with the web, done. Same with the ground. You can web him to a lamppost, a car, whatever surface a character is near. The second you hit them with enough webs, they're done. They don't break out and
or you can throw
run after you. Yeah, but like I love the fact that they finally were like, no, I mean, if you hit a dude with impact webbing and he's next to a wall, that character's done. He doesn't break out and come back after you. That's it. And I love that little detail of like that's how it would be, in the move. Like when he hits you against the wall, you're fucked. Or I like the stealth takedowns.
Yeah, like you web them up on top of the pole, and that's it. They're done. They're off the table, and I'm like, that's nice because it's like quick and to the point.
Right, the different animations that he would take them down with and stuff like that. Like I love the fact that they gave Spider-Man. It's almost like having a Superman game where he can't fly, where he can only fly like part time.
They cracked Did they crack the code on a Superman game that's like, world kind of like that? That would be great.
Well, the rumor is Rocksteady's hard at work on it.
Listen,
they said that they were done with Batman. Heavy Games was like, we're not done with Batman. Fuck that. So they said that they were done with Batman. Yeah. But then Rocksteady has, I mean, like, I think Game Informer and shit confirmed it. They said Superman is their next project. I love Superman more than anything. I do not fucking understand how you make a game that's any kind of fun where he just can't, show up and, like, fucking punch a hole through somebody.
I mean...
And you can't be like, oh, everyone's got kryptonite. Like, you can't do that.
I mean, he tried to do it with that Superman Returns game, and the ideas that they had in that game, there was ideas there, it's just the execution was shit. I
love the fact that he could break the sound barrier in the game.
Yeah, I mean, but you fight him at the end. It's like, really?
Oh, dude.
It's like, what?
Like, when he was on War World, I was like, okay, these fuckers would probably hurt him.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like, War World, Mogul or what the fuck is the Mongol would fuck him up. Like, he fucked up. But going back to Spider-Man, like, I love that. And here's another thing that I don't know if you noticed. If you watch animations of him, so let's say you're talking to Yuri, right? And she's on the thing. First of all, I love Spider Cop.
Spider Cop.
Yeah. She's like, don't do it. Just stop.
Please,
like,
please. Why?
But pay attention to this, though, because this blew me away. If you're talking to her and you're just swinging through the city, he has one tone. If you are doing something strenuous, he has a completely different tone.
Yeah, I did notice that a couple of times, like when he's in the middle of the fight at the beginning with Kingpin's men, it's like drastically different than what
So, but I watched, so I played it, and like, you're having a conversation with her, and I'm just swinging through the city, and he's like, hey, Yuri, what's up? And he's just very calm and very, like, normal. And then my buddy was playing it, and I was watching the exact scene, and he was in the middle of a fight, and he's like, hey, sorry. It's a completely different tone that they recorded the exact same dialogue in. To me, that's impressive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the nuances of those things is actually interesting. I mean, hell, the funny thing is, when you beat the game, in the post-game, I like that they recognize the fact that even though the raft and the other prison, Rikers is back to normal, recognize that they're still escaped prisoners. Hence the excuse that if you didn't do the 100%, there's a reason why they're still prisoners that you can beat down still. Or in Silver Sable when she was like, yeah, I'm gone, but my men are still there working for Osborn. Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Well, the fact that they go, yeah, a lot of them went rogue. Or when I did a lot of those gang hideouts and shit, they go, you know what? You've taken down enough of them where they split because they figure that when they're in gangs and they're all congregated, they're too easy to take down. So now, and I was like, fuck, man, that's so, like, the nuances of the level of attention to that, to actually recognize, like, hey, you beat all these rooftop missions. These criminals now be on rooftops because they're too easy to pick off by you. It's like, it's so impressive to me that they thought of this shit. And again, like, you can't say enough things about how they paid attention and how they really, really love Spider-Man.
I mean, it's almost like this game is too perfect. It's like
Dude,
you said.
I was sad when I beat it. Like, I was trying. So I bought it that Friday. I got, like, that Friday, I legitimately cleared my schedule. I felt like I was a teenager again.
Look, man.
I did everything I needed to do, and I was like, hey, don't call me. Don't fuck with me. I told my girl, I was like, listen, you're the best, and I'll see you tonight, but, like, I need to save New York City.
Listen,
and she was texting me, and she's like, go save New York. I'm like, thank you.
I got it. Let's see. Because I was lazy and stuff, I was actually going to go out to GameStop or Walmart to get it in the store. I was like, well, hold up, Chris. You can buy it digitally, right? I was like, yeah, I can buy it digitally. And I put a new hard drive PS4. Fuck it. Let's download it digitally. So I played it that Saturday afternoon. I downloaded Saturday afternoon and played it. I didn't beat it until Tuesday night. And that's me.
So Friday to Tuesday.
Yeah, so Saturday afternoon, Sunday all day, Monday when I got home from work, and then Tuesday when I got off work. Like, I was, like, religiously playing it. So that's, like... And if I played it normally, where it's like I played it a few hours, it probably would have taken me a week or so to beat it.
Okay, so what I did was, like, Friday night, she and I were going to go out. We already had plans. We were going to a movie and everything. And I told her, like, she's like, I'll be over at your house by, like, 6. And I'm like, perfect. I have from fucking, like, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. to get in some New York time. And I have this thing where I can't play games for too long in one sitting because I get bored.
Yeah.
So I think I maxed out at 4 hours, and then I'm like, I got to do something else. So I think I played 4 hours. I got up, I made lunch, I did some shit, I did some emails and whatnot, and then I went back a couple hours later, I played for like another 2, and I hadn't even put a dent. I think it was like 8%. And, then we went out and did our thing, and then the next thing she had to work, so I was like, yes! So I got in some time that morning. Like, hey, I love you and everything, but, like, I'll see you when you get home, but, like, I got some shit to do. And... the best part was she was like, go save New York. And I'm like, this is why we're together. And so I played it a couple hours that night. And then I paced myself because I didn't want to, like, rush through it. I actually did, like, one story mission, maybe 1 or 2 a day.
Yeah.
I actually stretched it into about 6 days. It took me about 6 full days to beat it. I still don't have 100 because I'm still trying to, like... Because once you beat 100, there's literally nothing else to do.
Yeah, it's just basically you can retry all the challenges and still beat up criminals if you feel like it and stuff, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so like I'm at 98-point-something%, and I'm like, maybe I'll go and do this or whatever. But I literally was like, oh, I don't want to beat this game because I don't, But I think as you play it, you can kind of, like, the suspense of, like, the story builds up, at least for me.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, holy shit, they didn't just do that. Like, they did not just do that. They did not just, blah, blah, did not just show Martin Lee on camera. They did not just kill Miles' dad. And I love that Miles' dad was an integral part of that level.
Yeah, I mean, he was actually helping out. Like, because that was the thing, again, like you said, the attention to detail. Like when Peter's fighting, the demons and stuff, he's literally helping them out. Like, hey, I'm going to sit there and shoot him with the taser to stun him to help you out. He isn't just there like, oh yeah, I'm helping out and not doing not a damn thing, Yeah,
and then that scene where Peter stops the car from going over the side, and that guy's gonna, and that guy almost hits him, and then Jefferson saves him. I was like, dude. Again, the attention to detail, the writing, everything, like, holy shit, man. You gave this guy something to do, which very, very smartly made his death that much more impactful because you were like, oh shit, like...
Oh, he helps people out. Like, that's it.
He's a good cop. He's a good man. The one thing I didn't understand was, and I'm kind of glad they didn't do it, to be honest, was obviously Peter got fucked up by that blast. He was unconscious.
Yeah.
I was kind of curious why, like, Miles wasn't, when he finally meets up with Spider-Man, why he wasn't like, why didn't you save my dad?
Yeah, that would have been I feel if they did that, it would be very tropey. A lot of like, and sometimes I don't mind that because it's like, hey, I get it because it's like, hey, you could have saved my dad. But, like, I think it worked. I think what made it work was that, like, Miles understood his dad was somebody that was a hero. And I think that mission before that established, when him and Spider-Man are teaming up, that established that he was a hero. So it wasn't necessarily like his dad was helpless and that Spider-Man needed to save him. I think that's what made it work. But if they did do that, I think it would have been like, all right, we're going to have this to where Miles eventually turns around and he's a Spider-Man fan. I think that would have been the issue right there.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, I think because that would have been the safe way to go, kind of like lazy writing would be like, have Miles, like, why the fuck weren't you, why weren't you, but, there's a part of me that when, again, spoilers at the end, when Miles reveals to Peter that he's got powers and Peter shows him he does too, the part of me that thinks like, okay, they've had that conversation where Miles was like, what happened? Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it's in my head. I'm like, that's a natural question to ask somebody is like, or at least Peter saying like, I'm sorry about your dad. I wish I could, something like that. But I mean, do you think in the next one, do you think we get a full Miles in a Spider-Man costume, or do you think it's just strictly about Peter?
You know what they're going to probably do? You remember how in Arkham Knight you had some levels where you could play as Tim Drake, Robin?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's what they're going to probably do, because like you said, the easiest thing in the second game is to go bigger and better, clearly, right? So you also don't want to make the mistake of overcrowding your game, because it'd be easy to be like, because right now this DLC they got coming up with the heist that's dealing with the Black Cat. I have to imagine you're going to probably be able to play as the Black Cat. Probably. So it's like, do you, like in the next game, if you do Miles, do you want it to be a situation where you just keep it limited to where you keep it kind of like, all right, we'll let you play Miles in certain sections, but not the full game, because we want to still keep the focus on Peter and his plight with Norman and Harry. Because, I mean, that was what was cool about that aspect of it is the side missions was the research stations, and you get a little bit of knowledge about Harry, because Harry is the type of person that's like, you figure he's just like the comics, where he's like, clearly he cares about certain things that his mom wanted to lay down, but you also get the feeling he doesn't want to be like his dad either.
Right.
So I'm curious to see how that's going to change up for Harry, if that whole thing is a symbiote, and how that changes his demeanor or whatever and stuff. I'm curious to see and stuff, because what was funny is that each of the side, like even the side stuff, like the book bags gave you history on Spider-Man, like the different, like, oh, this is my first camera. Oh, this is a piece of cloth from when I first fought, the Shocker. Which clearly which clearly shows you that Shocker upgraded too, just like Peter has upgraded. I got a feeling Mysterio is going to pop up as a side mission in the second game, because that would make total sense to actually do that. Just to do like some mind fuckery with his little powers and stuff. Well, I mean, he doesn't really have powers.
That's a character that I'm like, because if we're talking about the second one, so in this one, collectively, you have the Sinister Six, which Mr. Negative is not traditionally part of the Sinister Six, but, he's in this. Okay, so you have 6 characters right there. Yeah. Then you have Shocker, that's 7. Then you have Tombstone, that's 8. Then you have Taskmaster to a much, much lesser degree, that's 9.
Yep.
You have Black Cat, that's 10.
Yep.
Now, they said that the second one, the third one's called Silver Lining, which to me is like, no shit.
Oh, she's coming back. So she says she's going on a soul search right now.
Right. So in the middle DLC, the one that comes out in November, I have no idea who's going to be in. So let's just say you end with, let's say,
the first one is City That Never Sleeps, which we don't know what the hell that means. No, the heist is Black Cat.
Yeah, the heist is Black Cat. City That Never Sleeps. I thought the City That Never Sleeps is the pack of the pack.
It's a pack, but they said it's another story thing as well.
Oh, the second one is called Turf Wars.
Okay, Turf Wars. Okay, yeah, you're right. So the second one's Turf Wars. So yeah.
So do you have Tombstone come back?
That would be nice. He did like, yo, hey, you temporarily took my powers away, but I'm coming back.
Okay, so let me ask you this: for DLC, would you rather them use characters that we've already seen or that have already been hinted at, or would you rather see new characters?
I think you save your new characters for the next game.
I think you're right, because people were like, "Give me the symbiote." I'm like, dude, you need a fucking game.
You don't need it. I mean, like I said, that teaser with Harry in the tube, that's enough. That's enough right there to just tease the idea of it and stuff, because that's something that it'll be cheap thrills, and it's like, okay, so he has a symbiote, and what are we doing here? So I think if you do any new characters, it's going to be weird. I think you can bring back Tombstone and do something different with him. You can even, if you had to bring in a new character, Hammerhead, maybe.
See, my thought was that, so the first one you get Black Cat, the third one you get Silver Sable. I think that's kind of a no-brainer. With Turf Wars, honestly,
it's a lot of gangs.
I was thinking you get Kingpin back.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then I was thinking, honestly, like in my head, I was thinking Hammerhead, because Hammerhead usually has ties with Silver Sable in some degree.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking maybe you get the Kingpin returns, out of jail, depending on how far in the future it takes, or let's say his lawyer gets him out, whatever.
Yeah.
And a hammerhead coming in to kind of establish.
He was taking over while Kingpin was in jail, and now Kingpin's back, so it's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, there's a bit of animosity, so to speak.
Yeah, because, like, I'm with you. I want to see them throw in, a lizard or
I will allude to
Mysterio.
It. I will allude to it because at least then you can set the stage for it. Because, like I said, they even alluded to, like, when Peter has the Sandman vial, and he was like, if I open this up, is Sandman going to come back up? I don't want to take that chance.
Right. Right. So, like, but that's my point. It's like, Spider-Man and Batman arguably have the best villains in comics, period.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I would say maybe for me, maybe Spider-Man above him, but it's whatever. It's arguable. But
it's
like,
arguable. I mean, because it's Batman, Spider-Man. It's like, for me, it's like a toss-up of Batman, Flash, and Spider-Man with their rogue galleries.
Flash? Really?
Dude, because I like when you take the speed, like, even when you don't talk about this, you still have the rogues for, like,
Captain Cold, Mirror Master.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, dude, I like them.
Damn,
I like them. I
would have said the X-Men.
I would too, but it's just like, in terms of their rogues, it's like, and that's maybe because I've read Flash stuff with, like, Rogue Wars and the backstory on all of them and stuff, and how they really do, like, mesh well as a team that actually has defeated the Flash to an extent. It's like, okay, I actually like that. That's actually pretty dope.
Damn, that's a boiler.
Hey, I'm bold like that sometimes.
Yeah, no, I get it, but, like, okay, so Spider-Man, I mean, he has some of the best villains in history,
I ain't denying that. That's why I was like, those three are, like, the only three I can really say has, like, a rogues gallery to me that I really enjoy. I'm not taking the X-Men off the table a little bit. I'm just saying, it's just...
Oh, dude, X-Men, I mean,
yeah.
Goddamn.
Yeah.
But, like, so for the next game, I think we're kind of... Or, I mean, do you keep Norman kind of, like, it and say, fuck it, we'll give you the Goblin in the third one? You know what I mean?
Because, I mean, you can put his son, you can put Harry at the forefront, because that's a story that they've built up to the side. Because I think if you go in the second game and Norman just all of a sudden he's a Green Goblin, then you have to explain how he gets to that point. Because the thing you don't want to do is make it to where Norman is the Green Goblin because he's so heartbroken over Harry and trying to fix him. It's like, come on, like, we've seen that shit before. Like, why would you do that? But...
Well, my only problem would be Harry. Like, I don't want to see Venom be the main villain because, again, I don't think Harry is this criminal mastermind. Like, I don't
They tried it in the 90s cartoon where he was like, he went crazy when he took the Goblin form. And I was like, okay, I could see that. But at the same time, he ain't his dad. Clearly.
Right, but what I'm saying is, like, I could see Norman, let's say Harry becomes Venom, which they're kind of alluding to in this game, with the symbiote basically keeping him alive or whatever. Let's say he full-on turns into Venom and Norman is able to manipulate him into going after Spider-Man. I can understand that. But then if you do that, Norman is still the puppet master, right? Mm-hmm. He's still the guy pulling. I don't see being the puppet master of anything because Venom is, especially in his infancy, he's a brute. Yeah. He's got the same power set as Spider-Man, but he's a brute. So I can see Venom being like this threat, but I don't see him being the big bad. I could see Norman still pulling the strings. I mean, you could always bring back one or two of the characters from, the first one, like a Doc Ock, like going to visit him in jail, for instance.
I mean, I would love to see Kirk Connors working for Harry Osborn as another scientist that, Peter latches onto.
Oh, dude, I mean, you need to give me the Lizard. See, I'm not... whoever's listening to this is going to be fucking like, what do you mean? I don't think every Spider-Man game, movie, whatever, needs fucking Venom and the symbiote. Like, to me, that's such a big-ass story.
It's a cheap pop. If we're using wrestling terms, it's a cheap pop. It's basically like,
right.
Hey, it's some guys, and it's like, okay, cool. Because you know what's funny? I remember playing Ultimate Spider-Man, and I know that they use Venom as part of their story and stuff in the basis of the Ultimate Universe. But I felt even then, the way they used Venom in that game, I didn't really care much of playing Venom in that part of the game. Don't get it twisted. Him fighting Wolverine was dope as shit, but then after that, it's like, I don't care to play Venom anymore. I really don't. Like, I don't want to play as Venom anymore. So it's like, I don't want the next game to be like you said. Okay, he has a symbiote now, and it's like, really? Like, I would say that for the third game, maybe, maybe, or just make make his own game. Because I mean, at that point, you can make a fourth game where it's just really just an updated version of Separation Anxiety. It's had the Venom, Carnage, and all that stuff. If you really want to go nuts with it.
Well, I mean, that's kind of my argument against the symbiote. Is like you said, it is a cheap pop. I love Venom, but this notion that he's the definitive Spider-Man villain, well, not, because sometimes he moonlights as a hero or an anti-hero. Like the Green Goblin is a fucking villain. Period.
Oh yeah, there ain't
what I mean?
Coming back from that.
Scorpion is a villain. Period. Doc Ock, kind of, but primarily a villain.
Side note, and I like how Jay Jonah comments on, like, I know I created Scorpion, but I had my reasons, and I'm like,
yeah, he's like, whatever, come on, whatever. But man. I mean, for me, like, if you're gonna turn Norman into the Goblin, it has to be a mix. To me, it has to be a mix of like technology and science. I don't want to see, him rely 100% on either one, because I don't want to see Power Ranger Green Goblin, but I don't want to see Dragon Green Goblin either. I want to see a mixture of the two. You have to
find something to meld.
Which, if Insomniac tackles that character, there's no doubt they'll nail him, and it'll be incredible. But, like, I would love to see would love to see, Connors as the Lizard. And I would love to see Connors take the role of Doc Ock in this, and that you build it up, because, you felt for Ock in this game. Like, you sympathize with him and how he would, like, have his good days and his bad days, and how he hugged Peter and was like, thank you so much for being there. Like, for him when he turned, even though it was kind of an abrupt turn.
Yeah.
I felt for him. So if Connors, like you said, takes the place as a new mentor for Peter, then turn him into the Lizard. It's tragic. So I would love to see Lizard.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see Mysterio. I would love to see... God, who else? I think that you could make. I mean, you can go Prowler take the Taskmaster role.
You do Prowler. I would put him on the Mal side of things as his little side sub story.
Yeah,
kind of like, okay, you need a guy to fight, but he's not on the level of where Spider-Man's really caring. So you do the Prowler as like a sub story. You could do the Dot if you really want to go really obscure.
Jesus Christ!
I'm going so obscure with this. It's ridiculous, because it's like, I don't want to say Hobgoblin, because it's like, well, you have to establish the Green Goblin before you do Hobgoblin, so you can't, you gotta do that and stuff. Because look, I'm back to '90s Spider-Man, because as much as I don't feel '90s Spider-Man held up, it did a good job of really just going across the board with a lot of obscure villains. I mean, Alistair Smythe. I mean, shit. That's something that I would never have thought. That was like, oh, all right, cool.
That's okay. So that's something that I was going to mention, because what if Osborn is basically like shunned from society now, right? In the game, like,
yeah,
he had to resign from being mayor, yada yada yada. So what if you have Alistair Smythe come in as the new, CEO, the new this, the new that, whatever.
Yeah.
Excuse me, and you have a Kurt Connors work for him, either going intern or whatever.
Yeah.
For Smythe, and all the while they're building the Spider Slayers, and you know what I mean. Like, that could be an interesting story to do, because to me, like, you have to. Spider-Man kind of suffers from that, like, evil corporation, fatigue with, like, he's got Smythe, and he's got Osborn, and he's got Ock, and he's got Connors. Like, there's always a doctor or a scientist or a corporation that he's dealing with. But, okay, so what about if we did... I like how we're deciding this, by the way.
Or Hydro Man.
I'm not mad. There's a rumor that he's going to be a small character in the next Spider-Man. Like, I'm not mad at that. Like,
I mean, that's the best way to use Hydro Man, because it's like, I don't care enough about Hydro Man that he needs a whole movie for a background. But if you just had it to where opening scene, Peter's fighting Hydro Man, it's like, all right, I'm fine with this. This is perfectly fine. I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, like, what if in the sequel, I want to see Alistair Smythe. I don't care if he becomes a Spider Slayer or whatever, but I want to see him have a tie to Kurt Connors. I want to see the Lizard. See, that's what I think is going to happen in that Silvermane. Maybe Silvermane comes in in this game. You know what I mean? Because I don't think he's a big enough character to really support like a full game.
He's a gangster type character that has a lot of pull as a like Vulture and like and like goddamn dude that we just talked about forgot his name, Tombstone. Like they're street level ish and stuff, but they got that pull. You know, and if you're gonna go on there, you could throw in Juggernaut, because Juggernaut is a Spider-Man sort of villain. You can just do like a little mini.
Well, he was in Shattered Dimensions. He was one of the best parts of Shattered Dimensions. You fought him in a construction site.
Yeah, I mean, you could throw him in there if you felt like it. If you really want to start this whole like throwing the X-Men in video games, because it's been a long time since the X-Men have been in video games. I mean. But like I said, I don't want it to be. I just don't want it to be too there and stuff. But like I said, I definitely agree with you on Kraven. I would put him as like a side mission kind of thing, like Taskmaster. Like, oh, he's hunting you down. You know what it would remind me of? You know how you had to do that side mission in the Batman games with Deadshot?
Yep.
Something like that, where it's like Kraven is hunting you, and you got to avoid him trying to get you and stuff.
And that was the. You know, when we were talking about Spider-Man movies years ago, I was like, I don't understand why you don't have Scorpion be the villain and then have Kraven, if you want to throw in a secondary villain, you throw in Kraven, who heard about the spider and the scorpion, who wants to come big game hunt. Mm-hmm. You know, you could easily throw that into this game of like, oh, I heard on the news about an octopus, a rhino, a scorpion, and a spider in New York, and I'm here to and use them as like a Taskmaster role. But see, the thing is like a lot of outside of like Doc Ock and Norman,
or even Chameleon, I will put him in there too.
I was just gonna say that. So like, but outside of like Doc Ock and Chameleon, like you don't really have mind. Like Rhino's not a mastermind, Scorpion's not a mastermind. So that's why you have to have Norman still there. And so if Ock put together the Sinister Six in this game, what if Norman assembles a Sinister Six in the next game?
Yeah, they would definitely have to like revise it and stuff, because I mean, unless you do stuff like you add in like the Jackal, for instance, if you really wanted to, you know, things.
Well, so what if you had the Goblin, the Lizard, Sandman, Mysterio? That's 4. You could throw in Kraven. He's been a part of the
he's been a part of it.
Before. Yeah, you could throw in Kraven. And then, if you want to throw in the Jackal or whatever, because, Mr. Negative wasn't part of it, so you want Hydro Man, whatever, I don't know. I mean, you could always throw an obscure character in there, but I just don't want to see Venom. I just don't want to see them shoehorn Venom into these games.
You have to soft pedal Venom, to be honest with you. Like, you got to soft pedal it in there, because, like you said, that little tease of Harry inside that tube with black substance, that's all I need to know, to where you could speculate away, and whatever they do in the second game, it's like, all right, you've put that little thing in your head about like, oh hey, Venom ? And now maybe the second game you could throw in as background like, oh, Norman is developing this little suit that will keep a person alive, and it's a black suit that's a symbiote, and just don't even do anything more than that. Just allude to it, and that's it. And maybe, maybe it escapes during a sequence where the lab gets destroyed or something like that.
To me, like, you could always have Peter get the symbiote at the end of the second game in an accident.
Yeah.
And use the third game as like, the basis for the symbiote saga with Venom and shit like that. I just don't like when they shoehorn him in and they try to take him and cram him into like a 15-hour thing, because Venom to me is like done properly. Venom and Carnage is a 3-part movie.
Here's the thing too. Put Arcade in the game too.
Oh, fuck, classic shit, huh?
Yeah, I mean, hey, this is a guy that you can really do a lot of little side stories with as well, and it'll be like the most like, all right, you can literally make Arcade kind of like the Riddler of the games. Like, you gotta do all these little different challenges and stuff, and it's like, oh, that could actually work.
Yeah, I mean, the fun part about it is like there's so many ways that they can go with the story in the game. Like, I heard that, I love the fact that Disney approached, I don't know who approached you, I believe Disney approached Insomniac and was like, blah, 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 pick a character, they pick Spider-Man. I love that because Insomniac is a small studio. In fact, I found out today from my mom that my cousin works for Insomniac, and she showed me a picture of his name at the end credits of Spider-Man.
Oh, nice.
So he's an assistant programmer. His name's Austin. So I just found that out today, and I was like, what? So, but here's something that I wanted to ask you. So now the internet's going crazy, and Insomniac's profile is about to blow up in terms of like they're the hot studio right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because like everyone is all about Spider-Man right now, and Insomniac. You know, so I hear, well, give them the Avengers, give them Iron Man. I'm saying don't give them shit. Let them develop Spider-Man. Like if you want to throw Iron Man to it, like a Santa Monica Studios or something like that, the God of War, if they're interested, like give these other developers some of these IPs and see what they can do with it, because Insomniac has just proven that you don't need a fucking EA or an Activision.
It's for the Avengers game with a different studio. I mean, I heard they're working on one, so it's like if you want the Avengers, don't put them in the Spider-Man game. Make their own game.
But that's what I'm saying, because now everyone's like, well, give the Avengers to Insomniac, and I'm like, don't do that because they a fucking Spider-Man game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let Insomniac focus on Spider-Man for however long they want to do these games, whether it's 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever, and give an Iron Man or an Avengers or whatever to a Santa Monica Studios or to and let them develop, because I know Disney's new rule has been no more movie tie-ins, and we're only developing games that we think, you know, people are really going to play. And if this is the first entry in that, it's a really good decision that they made.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see Insomniac go, okay, guys, like, we're going to make Spider-Man, but it's going to be 2021 because we're working on Avengers.
Yeah. It's like, but I mean, that's the way is that Insomniac, they've never really been the type of studio to really put themselves in a position of like taking on so much stuff. I mean, because I mean, if you really think about it, if you look at their games, right? So they did, Spyro the Dragon. They did the Ratchet and Clank games, which I'll be real about you, that was their main focus for a while. And then they
love those games.
They're fun. And then they did the Resistance games. They always stayed with a series. So they did the Resistance games, and then they did Sunset Overdrive after they were officially done with the Ratchet and Clank games, even though they did...
Which I love.
Yeah, which they did the reboot of. And then they just redid the Spyro games right now, which, I don't know, I might get, maybe, I don't know. And now they're doing Spider-Man. So now it's like, okay, they really clearly have a focus on keeping it at one game at a time. They're not trying to, like, spread themselves thin. You know, so I can see them like, all right, you want us to concentrate on the Spider-Man, we can do it, but you got to give us time. So it wouldn't be surprised me if next year at E3 possibly you might get an announcement of a new Spider-Man game. But I mean, I would figure it'll probably be the year after next we might get something about that, maybe.
We'll actually see it.
I would say at the earliest probably late next year, so maybe around the same time Tokyo Game Show. If they really,
damn,
I mean,
I'm talking like get it in hand to play.
Oh! I'm thinking 2020, personally.
Yeah,
I mean, which, hey, look, I mean, if they got all these DLCs and they're spreading that shit out and stuff, I mean, it's like, all right, you know, cool. You got to spread it out a little bit, you know, and things like that. Because I mean, I think the DLC spread out into, I think January.
Great.
Huh?
October, November, December.
Yeah, they're spreading out to the end of the year, so it wouldn't surprise me if late next year you hear news of, oh, we're doing a sequel and it's X, Y, and Z. So, you know, who knows and stuff. But yeah, like I said,
So I mean, I guess to close, like, what's your end comments? I mean, like, you know, I mean,
it was
now that you beat it, how do you feel?
I feel accomplished, and I still, like, last night, even though I had beaten it and stuff, last night I just web swinged because it was fun to do and stuff, you know. So, like, it's just like, I feel so lonely now. I want to do more stuff, but I 100% it now. But now it's just like, all right, I'm going to change into this costume and web swing around. Oh, I'm Peter Parker with just a Spider-Man mask on in my underwear. Let's swing a web swing around. That's going to be fun. You know, so I'm kind of like doing that. But now it's like, okay, I need this DLC to happen now. And stuff, because it's funny because most people, like, when they buy a game that's $60, they don't feel it's worth it. But it's like, for the amount of money I paid for it, I was like, I feel like I got my money's worth out of it. You know, I don't feel I rushed through it and stuff either. So it was like, hey, I got a lot of hours out this game, and now I want more. You know, so I think it's kind of like what I told D with Mafia 3, right? I don't know if you played Mafia 3 by chance. Did you? Oh, you did?
No, I did not.
Okay, so like Mafia 3, it's kind of the same setup with Spider-Man, where it's like you're doing these missions, but you have these side missions that you do. But it's enough to where it doesn't become tedious. It's enough to where it's like, okay, I'm having fun with it, and it's good. So with this one, it's like, okay, if you're going to give us more side missions, I want to see them integrate certain aspects to it. Like, I like the Taskmaster aspect of it to it because there was lore behind it. You know, there was actual like, okay, I got Taskmaster, so I wouldn't mind if there was like, okay, for a next side mission, you're dealing with a D-list character like, oh, Stiltman or some shit like that. You know, I'm just throwing a name out there. But, like, just that kind of thing. So it's like, as much as I like the side missions, the beating up, it's like, you know, it does get a little old, I see it. But at the same time, it's like, yo, the web swinging mechanics is so good. I just like web swinging around and doing a lot of crazy shit. So I think overall, it's a very good game. I mean, like I said, I give it a solid 9 out of 10, easily. I mean,
what do you think the drawback was, though?
I think the only drawback was, and I don't know if we touched on that stuff. I think there were certain parts of the story that I was kind of, I didn't care much for. It's like certain MJ segments, I was like, I don't really care. But some of the other ones I didn't mind. Like when MJ, say for instance, like I think the one where MJ is trying down the scientist at one of the Silver Sable's compounds, I was like, I didn't really care for that, but okay, I guess, you know, it was just kind of like one of those, I didn't really want to play that part, you know. It was just like, do I have to? You know, but I did it anyway. That kind of, it's minor, but it was just like, I didn't care for it. But, I mean, I guess mainly I just wanted more interaction. If you're going to have her as Mary Jane, can we get, like, something else with her instead of just that? But, you know. That's more of a nitpick more than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, man, like, if...
Even the Miles thing, it was like he's going to feast, and it's like he had to do that little thing. It was nice, but I enjoyed that little segment with the Rhino more than the one where he's going to feast, you know?
The one with the Rhino was cool.
Oh, yeah, that was tense. You know?
Yeah, I was like, a couple times, but...
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like, for me, I look at it like this year, it's like last year, right? Last year you had Zelda came out, Horizon Zero Dawn,
mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, I don't know which between those two you would have given Game of the Year to, because Zelda is Zelda. I mean, it's fucking Zelda.
Oh, it was just ridiculous.
But Horizon Zero Dawn was such a beautiful game, and it was the fact that it's an original idea. With this year... So far, now keep in mind, like, Assassin's Creed comes out next month, and Tomb Raider just came out, but right now, to me, the only two contenders are God of War and Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you're getting... I mean, look, right now, I love the fact that God of War, you got New Game Plus now. So now it's like...
Right, and Game Plus changes a lot of the story.
And they said, and Insomniac said that they're going to do that, too, so now it's like, interesting.
Right, so that's where I'm looking at, because I haven't played Game Plus of God of War yet, but when I read that, like, oh, you can keep all the armor, you can keep all of this, and it changes elements of the story around, I was like, oh shit, now I'm interested.
Because now you can access stuff that you couldn't access before in the beginning.
Exactly.
So and I gotta admit too, it probably will make people be like, I want to play on the hardest difficulty now with my power-ups. How much does that change up everything now?
Exactly. So that was like, now I'm interested. I mean, God of War, like, fucking ending made me cry. Dude, the ending of this game made me cry. No shit,
bro. When Pete, like, yo,
when he made that decision, I was like, "Oh, fuck this game! I gotta walk away. You can't kill Aunt May. You can't kill Master Splinter. Fuck this shit." Like,
I had the Denzel tears from Glory. Like it was that. It was like that. It was like, yo, like don't Aunt May dies. No.
Yeah. I mean, you know what's fucked up, and I guess kind of cool. For
Even Mal's dad died.
Like,
I was like, oh, they went there. Wow. Okay. Like, jeez.
Well, see, I wasn't surprised. Like, I wasn't surprised because one of Miles' parents dies. So I was like, hey, his dad died, but his dad died in a heroic way, which I think later down the road might be the catalyst for Miles doing good, et cetera, et cetera. I get it. Narratively, I completely understand it, even though I was really like into the level of that. With Aunt May, I'm like, God damn, you just killed off Peter's entire family. He has no family.
And he's
basically an orphan again.
And side note, they even allude to the idea of his parents being spies, but they don't like go deep into it. It's like, oh yeah, my parents are spies, but nobody really give me on it, and that's it.
But I mean, like, so I mean, I guess at the end they kind of hint that Peter and MJ are going to get back together. Which, come on, let's be honest, like it's the way it's supposed to be.
I mean, they built it up to the point that it was like, so you and Mary Jane are back together, huh? I mean, don't. We're taking our time. We're taking our time. We're getting there. Not quite there yet.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, for me, like, the more I think, I would have to give this a solid 10 out of 10.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, my 9 out of 10 was just nitpicking, so it's like, yeah, but yeah, I can see how somebody can say it's 10 out of 10 perfect. I mean, and like I said, you never feel like you got shortchanged. Because it's, like I said, I think Insomniac is trying to do a New Game Plus, so I'm curious to see what changes they do with their New Game Plus.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, man, like for me, like I love God of War, and God of War and this are two of the most cinematic games I think I've ever played.
Some of the only properties too, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think God of War is such a heavy game, and it's so serious that at some point, I don't want to say it's not fun, but it's heavy, whereas Spider-Man, like the whole thing is fun. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say, like, this is the most fun I think I've had playing a video game, maybe ever.
Yeah.
And, I mean, my favorite games used to be Kingdom Hearts. They probably still are. Like, I can't wait for the third one. I love games.
Side note, did you see the Big Hero 6 trailer?
Fuck yeah, dude. And it comes out on my birthday this next year, so...
Cross the fingers, it actually comes out on time, by the way. Just putting that out there.
Well, because I've already told her that my birthday is in January. It's on the 29th. That game comes out. If you all want to get it for me, not bad. But, after going through this and even just sitting down and swinging through the city and looking at the costumes and the aesthetics and shit like that, the fact that they even worked in the LGBTQ... I think I said that right, I don't know, but like the fact that they worked that into the game on the building and the flag, I was like, God, they really like, it's like there's something in everybody. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
you have characters and genders and sexual orientations represented, and everything is at least represented to some degree. And it's hard for me not to sit back and look at this and say, like, this might be an absolutely perfect game.
Yep.
For me. Like,
oh yeah.
I love Spider-Man, and in every
it's hard for anybody to say this was a bad game too, because like I hear somebody say it's a bad game, I'm looking at them like, what did you play? Because this game was about as close to perfect as you can fucking get. Honest with you, man.
Well, the thing is like, even with the Batman game, I don't like the story of Arkham Knight. It was so fucking predictable that like they're like, of course that's Jason Todd. Of course it's Jason Todd.
See that, and
you know what I mean?
And eventually, I told the guys we're going to talk about the Arkham games because, like, and I'm getting Prime on that because I think Prime echoed the same thing you were saying, where it was like, well, of course it's Jason Todd. But like, my issue with Arkham Knight was more like it was so emphasis on the fucking Batmobile, and it's like it got old shooting the tanks. I gotta be real. That's the definition of. Your open world got a little boring over time. It got tedious. I just didn't fucking care. That's the definition of this book. Like, I don't fucking care for your open world anymore. I don't. Not anymore.
Right. So, I mean, that's kind of where I differ. Is that like I'm not shitting on the Arkham?
Oh, it's a great series.
Arkham Knight
Narratively is great. I feel it's great, even though I like the gameplay and stuff. But like you said, with Arkham Knight,
well, see, Arkham Knight to me, I hate. I do. It's the same problem I have with the fucking Nolan movies. Like, do not tell me that you were going to take Batman, shit on him, and call it your interpretation. Like, Batman does not quit. He does not fake. Does not go away. He doesn't do any of this bullshit. He's fucking Batman, and he stands his ground. And like, so when Arkham Knight does that, I'm like, God damn it! You know what? I don't. You lost me right there. And it's the same problem I have with the Nolan movies. And maybe they do that with Spider-Man. Maybe he just gives up and can play the third game. I have no idea. But for now,
at least Arkham Knight would have been nice if they just said, "Hey, Dick, you're Batman now. I'm disappearing." Poof, and it's like, "Oh, okay, cool." That would have been nice.
So pissed off, dude. The point is, it's like, as much as I love Miles, make Miles a secondary character in the next game, because you don't want to have it too far in the future. And if it's only been like 6 months or a year, Miles isn't ready to be Spider-Man. I would love to see certain missions with him, like a Prowler or low-level criminals.
Yeah.
Where you can suit up as Miles and do shit, like you said, like in the Batman game. Perfect. Yeah. No problem. I love that. But don't make him the focal point, because it's still Peter's story. And
you have to transition to where because like I said, if you want to make the Spider-Man games kind of like the Ratchet and Clank, you have to build up to where it's like, okay, we're not using Peter anymore. Now we got Miles. And let's be real about this too. Miles' power set is different than Peter. Yeah, he can web swing. Yeah, he can crawl on walls, but he also can turn invisible. He got his electroshock, electric stinger. So now it's like, oh, now you got a different gameplay system for him now.
Right, and I remember like when we had this conversation years ago about when they were talking about turning Peter black, or should the new Spider-Man be Miles, and I was like, it's the same way I feel about this game. It's like, I love Miles. He's one of my new favorite characters. And the second you say, I don't want to see him right now, everyone calls you racist. And it's like,
hey, I like to soft pedal that stuff before you get to that point. Now, if you said, oh, I just don't like it because he's black, it's like, I don't think that.
Right. Yeah, but, come on, man. Like, I mean, I'm of mixed race. Like, I over here, like, fucking, I love Miles, and I love this notion that he's becoming a big player in the proper, universe of Marvel, But
it took years to get there, which I appreciate greatly, that Marvel, like, we're going to stay the course and build them up to where now you're like, oh, when I think of Spider-Man, yeah, sure, I think of Peter, but I also think of Miles too. And they've done a good job of building that up to where you can have your cake and eat it too kind of thing. Where both like Miles and like Peter, they can both respectfully say, oh, Miles Morales is my Spider-Man, and people can still say that Peter Parker is their Spider-Man. They've done a good job. Like, at this point, you will never hear anybody say, well, Spider-Gwen is my Spider-Man, because nobody... I mean, look, I think Spider-Gwen is a great character, but it's like nobody's really saying that that's their Spider character that they grew up on, kind of thing. So they've done a good job of really pushing both of those characters, particularly with Miles. I mean, Miles came out like so many years ago, and I think it happened 10 years before when Miles finally became a thing. I think. Has it?
Well, my whole point is like when we were arguing, this point years ago, I was like, without Peter, there is no fucking Miles.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that. And those dudes are like, dude, Peter Parker is Spider-Man. He's the first Spider-Man. If you have Miles, that's
Miles
fine.
Is a Spider-Man fanboy. It's like, that's the basis of his character. He's such a fanboy for Spider-Man. Hell, that's what made this game awesome, is that he's taking pictures of Spider-Man. It's like, oh my god. Like him, when Peter is literally teaching him how to fight, was a moment.
Right. And that's my point with this game. It's like, if they want to finish a trilogy out with Peter and then do another trilogy with Miles, I'm 100% with that. And if you want to hit certain missions in the next game, I'm 100% with that. But just don't try to cram him in. Like, you guys made an amazing game doing what felt right to you and what made sense to you as developers and fans. You weren't listening to fans bitch and cry on and tell you what had to be in the game. You guys did your thing, and it worked out beautifully. Yeah. Do the exact same shit for the next one. Don't listen to people who are like, you have to put Venom in, you have to put Carnage in. Like, if it doesn't make sense for the story that you're telling, don't do it.
And look, if they manage to pull off a Venom in the second game, kudos. That's the only thing I can really say. That's the only thing I can really say. I mean, they're going to do whatever they want regardless. So me and you can say, don't do them in the second game. But if they manage to pull it off in a game, it's like, okay, kudos. They got it.
I mean, I guess I would just say is do what makes sense for your guys' story, because it's paid off so well this time. If it makes sense to put Venom in, cool. If it makes sense to put Miles, I just don't want to see either character shoehorned just to please fans, because fans are going to fucking complain no matter what.
Oh yeah, you can't escape that. You really can't. It's like
at the end of the day, man, like, I would say that this game rivals any fucking movie. Any MCU movie that I've seen, this game rivals it in terms of, like, scope, depth, story, etc., etc. I would say that, like, if I'm the producers, the directors of Man movie, which I believe they're shooting now, I'm looking at this game going, okay, how do we work some of this shit in here?
Like, how do we top this? How are we doing this?
Well, how do we work in impact webbing? How do we work in? He already had the drone. So did you notice that the Homecoming costume has the drone?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like a little mini spider drone that helped him out in certain things. So yeah.
Well, you have the spider drone in this that'll shoot lasers, but then in the Homecoming suit, you actually have the drone that comes off his chest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even in the movie, Stark had a whole bunch of stuff that this game used. Because remember in Homecoming, when he unlocked everything, he had the electro shits, the electro webs, and everything. And I was like, the impact webs. And I was like, wow, okay.
Well, he had another weapon I used that we didn't mention, the trip mine.
Oh, man, them trip mines were fucking clutch.
And that came from the movie, too.
Yep. I mean, the sky's the limit, because to me, it's like, I think with the sequel, before we close in, I improve on certain things with the web, with the some of the designs for the gadgets. They could definitely improve on that easily.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're Peter or Spider, I'm taking fucking tech from Shocker, I'm taking tech from Scorpion, I'm taking tech from, Doc Ock and shit, and I'm reworking that into something in the next game. I don't want to see, like, spider tentacles, because you already have the spider arms in this one, but, I'm thinking that he's got some massive upgrades. I bet you the weapon wheel is probably twice the size the next time.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look,
and
the spider arms for the armor Spider-Man, I thought was interesting in terms of usage a little.
Yeah, I used them like twice, and I like the spider armor from the movie. I ordered the hot toy, but I don't like it in the game.
It's too shiny. It felt a little too shiny. That's why I was like, I like the one from the comic book a little bit, just because of But that's just me.
Yeah, I did. You know what? I did order the hot toy, the advanced suit, though.
It looked dope. I mean, I need to get the hot
with the white spider.
Yeah, I need to get the. I want to get the hot toys for Black Panther. I read that mainly. I might want to get the Killmonger hot toy.
That new Black Panther from the movie. It's got that black light shit on it. Fuck. Yeah. That's slick, dude.
Yeah.
Do it. Pull the trigger, man.
Hey, look, they got payment plans for it, so it might end up being a thing.
Dude, that's how I got fucking He-Man, Skeletor. That's how I got all that shit.
That is the greatest thing ever. If you told me as a kid that I'll be able to buy a toy that's on a payment plan, I will look at you like, get the fuck out. It's like,
well, first of all, if you told me that I'd be buying a toy on a payment plan that was fucking $800, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here.
Well, that too. It's like we have entered a time where toy companies actually, because what's funny? I think payment plans is their way of getting people that got kids and are on to be able to actually buy those toys at a reasonable price over time.
The beautiful thing about the payment plan is, so like the advanced suit is only $250. Like, I don't mind paying that up front, but if you're going to offer me a pen and you're saying I owe you $40 a day and I don't have to start, because I think they give me four months. So 4 months to pay it off. It's like, $60 each or something like that. So if you give me 4 months, but you don't start charging me until next, I think soon, because it's not released. Mm-hmm. Until when you order these things, it's always a year out. So I believe the release date of the advanced suit is September to November of 2019, which means I give you $40 today, and then you don't until next fall. That's perfect. Same thing with the Iron Spider. I ordered him. Jesus, man, 4 months ago, I think, and I had a bunch of points, so it didn't cost me shit. So I ordered him I put like $50 in points. They don't start billing me until like next April.
Wow.
Huh. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if you get that Black Panther, I'd get that shit in right if it's still available. But
yeah,
I wouldn't get that shit right now.
Yeah. But anyways, I think we spent a long time talking Spider-Man, but I think we covered everything and stuff, which I am glad we actually got it out, because I think I was with you where I was like, I got to talk about this with somebody because this game was just so goddamn good.
Well, I think that when the DLC comes, so October 23rd is the first one. I'd say, within that first or second week, we got to revisit this.
Follow up.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not, a 3-hour podcast, but we could definitely hour and go over the DLC and shit.
Oh yeah, easily and stuff. Because like I said, I think that's the funny thing is like I said earlier with the video games and stuff. I think me and D and Eris, we kind of talk about video games offline a lot, but we podcast on it. I think last time we talked about it was actually the only thing related gaming thing was when I did kind of like a live reaction to E3 stuff. But before that, we were talking about like Tokyo Game Show stuff last year and things like that. So that was legit the last thing that we actually but yeah, I definitely.
I mean, I'm down whenever you guys. I'm halfway through Tomb Raider.
I need to pick it up because I actually bought the last game, the Game of the Year edition of that. So now it's like, okay, I need to buy this new, and I heard it's really good.
Dude, this bitch is like Rambo now.
Oh yeah, you already knew that was happening. Like the second game, she was already on a Rambo tip, anyways.
Remember Rambo and the mud wall?
Yeah.
Several fucking places in this. You literally cover yourself in mud, get up against all night, and straight up Rambo these fuckers. And I'm like, oh god. Wow. But I mean, listen, you got Tomb Raider is out. We can talk about that. You got Assassin's Creed next month. We can talk about that.
See, I ain't big on Assassin's.
I'm so fucking.
See, you know what it is with me, Assassin's Creed. Okay, I don't have much of a patience to want to play it, but I will watch somebody play it. If that makes sense. Yeah, that's the weird thing. It's like I care enough about the Assassin's Creed, the game and stuff, because like I played I played the first game, right? I think I told you when we did the movie review, I played the first one. I played the second one. I played the Black Flag one, and mainly
awesome.
I played Black Flag, and I played the DLC with like I dubbed it Django Creed with the Black Pirate saving all the slaves. And that was the last time I really played it. Like, because I at that point I was getting like interested in fighting games, and I was like putting a lot of fighting games. So at this point, it's like I just don't care much. I think I went back and played the one where you play the Native American during the George Washington period.
Oh, that was Assassin's Creed 3.
Yeah, I played that one, but that was like the last time I played. I played Unity, and I just didn't care.
Unity wasn't good. Syndicate was cool because it introduced the grappling hook.
Yeah.
And it was during the Industrial Revolution. The thing that bummed me out about Syndicate was like, for the longest time, I was like, dude, give me an Assassin's Creed game where fucking Jimber is a Templar and you're hunting him down, yada, 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 yada. When they announced this game, the Victorian era, they're like, oh, but it's set in 1848. And I'm like, you motherfuckers, you could not give me 1888, Jack the Ripper. Then they released that shit as DLC, right? And I'm like, oh, shit. Jack the motherfucking Ripper in a video game, and you get to play as him, and it's fucked up, because he's basically like the Scarecrow.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
You get to play, and when you get to the end, you basically know who he is 10 minutes into it. You're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
They fucked it with Jack the Ripper, and I have not forgiven them, but from me to you, I highly recommend checking out that last one, Assassin's Creed Origins, that takes place in ancient Egypt. Dude, it reinvents the entire franchise. The mechanics, the
I'm
fighting,
hearing good things about it. Maybe I do need to do it, because it's like I think because I think Unity was probably where I was just fucking care anymore. I think that's
Unity is bullshit.
Yeah, that's probably what it was, because I bought it and I was like, I don't have an interest. Does that mean I don't like the Assassin's Creed games anymore? That's where I was at. Unity
was bullshit. Get Origins. I love ancient Egypt, and it is spot on with like where things are located.
Yeah.
This is the tomb of so and so, etc., etc. It's a beautiful game, and the way that the assassins are born is really interesting. The only thing that I don't get about this new game is that Assassin's Creed Origins is the origins of the assassin, which takes place, 3,200 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, this new game that's coming out is ancient Greece, and it's a guy and a girl assassin, but it's 400 years prior to Assassin's Creed Origins. So how the fuck is it Origin if it's Origin?
Yeah, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Yeah, that's...
Highly recommend picking up Origins. I'm sure you could get it for like 20, 30
I'm probably
bucks
sure.
now.
I'll probably check it out. I definitely would check it out because it's like that might get me back into it. I was like, I don't know, but
I was with you, man. Like, I love those games, and it kind of lost me. But you throw some ancient Egypt shit at me, and I'm like, oh fuck, all right.
Yeah, now I was like, all right, I guess I gotta check it out now. I was like, all right, okay, cool. Plus I'm highly anticipating Devil May Cry. So Devil May Cry.
When is that out?
Shit, because I know the Tokyo Game Show just released a trailer. I think it's March 8th next year, but they've been like pushing it hardcore religiously, with it and stuff. So,
well, I think we did a 3-hour and 10-minute podcast on Spider-Man, which is fitting.
Yeah, you need it because I think you can't fit this in an hour and 2 hours. Yeah, you might be able to, but it was just so much stuff that we loved, and the theory processing with it is crazy. I'm not even mad because I've listened to other podcasts. One of the guys I listened to, he did a full-blown podcast about the Jonathan Hickman's Avengers books and his Fantastic Four saga, and that was a fucking podcast, but it was worth the listen. It was fun. So, yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, man. Trust me. You start realizing that Hickman was on some, like, you're like Charlie from It's Always Sunny when he was doing that whole fucking the little mailroom meme that everybody does where he's all smoking a cigarette. That's literally how you are when you read all of Jonathan Hickman's stuff involving like Avengers and Fantastic Four and the S.H.I.E.L.D. book and stuff. It's like it's all connected in a very crazy way that makes sense. You start going down the rabbit hole of just ridiculousness. So
yeah, I'm trying to catch up on all that shit. So
yeah. Well, hey, I blew your mind on Kingpin being mayor, so congratulations.
Yeah, I know. I got to check that out, man.
So
I'm like, what the fuck? All right.
So yeah. But anyways, we'll catch you guys later. Peace out. Thanks for joining in.
Chin, 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 narrow.